Upsets will happen and brackets will be busted, but by the end of this weekend, one more team will get to have their own one shining moment. We are live from IPL with Low Ink March 2025. My name is Spice and I'm joined on the mic by Frostix. How are we doing today?
I am stoked for the March, I'm stoked for this March season of Low Ink to get started, if I'm correct. This is day one of Low Ink in March, so we've got a whole weekend packed of Splatoon action here on IPL.
Yeah, and we're going to kick it off already with an amazing round one matchup. We're getting Magic Beans on here going up against UFO. I know Magic Beans has been a popular pick lately to go really far, maybe potentially win this tournament. UFO also trying to get a little bit of March Magic on their own, so I think we're going to be in for a great set right off the bat.
I mean, I'm going to speak on a personal level. I am very well acquainted with Magic Beans captain Yoshido, and if there's one thing I know, Yoshi and his gang have been grinding non-stop, hopping from tournament to tournament. I am stoked to see what Magic Beans has for this Saturday in Low Ink.
Oh yeah, and it's so important in Low Ink to get a great start here, with Low Ink being a tournament where I like to say stamina is just like of the essence here, just because of how long you have to play, with everything being play all three on day one as well. Being able to have good results early is going to really aid you in your momentum going the rest of the way. And for a team like Magic Beans especially, this is a group, as you mentioned, been grinding the other tournaments within our scene as well, now trying to make their mark here in March 2025 with this Low Ink. Super excited to see what we got going, as we also get a look to see with some other round one matchups across the board.
Noticing some familiar teams on this Group A startup. I'm seeing Riptide, I'm seeing 07 Honorbound. I think Popgun Fan Club has been showing up to a couple Low Inks on their own as well. Maybe it's not just about winning, it's also about sending a message.
It really is. I like that point here, because like the reality is many teams will not win Low Ink and probably won't ever win Low Ink, but sending a message on this stage, basically the biggest tournament of the month, like pretty much, especially in the low level, it's a great way to like build up your resume, get some big wins, and start making your names out there. You don't have to win Low Ink necessarily to get Low Ink banned in the future, but it's a big way to just really put your name out there, get your stuff going, and let's see what we gonna have as we kick off this first day of Low Ink. Also going into some Group B, and like we've been talking about, but there's a lot of teams just in this tournament who are just looking to do really well here.
Exactly, 73 teams have signed up for this month's Low Ink here. This is a massive number, Spicy here, and now I think we are ready to go into the set in question, actually.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to be going into the set in question. Clan Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime will kick us off here for the first game of this Low Ink. Clan Blitz Barnacle is going to be a fun way to do it. We get Rainmaker, Humpback, and Splatoon's Mako as well. Should be an interesting way to kick off this first day.
I definitely say so. These are really fundamental maps, and I think within their respective modes, I think these maps are also really cornerstone in what they do. I think I've seen a lot more, maybe TC on Mako, but Splatoon's Mako is also really good for, I guess, starting to build that muscle memory and a lot of that team play here. A lot of these maps kind of set the groundwork for what a lot of the high-level Rainmaker, Clan Blitz, Splat zones are played.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned it's like the fundamentals are kind of just being really pushed here, and like especially at Low Ink in the low level, pushing those fundies are really kind of the cornerstone for a lot of these teams here, because we're at the point where still at this play, you can still, if you just have better mechanics, better fundamental strategy, you can get ahead on these teams. It sounds like we are going to be going in now to finally kicking us off with this Low Ink. Clan Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime will be the first map here, map mode combination. Let's get a quick look into the comps that we have today.
And it just depends on what we are going to see from both teams. We're going to start off with looks to be Magic Beans. That is an S-Blast, I think I see there. I'm also seeing, I think that's a brush actually on UFO. Pretty evenly distributed weapons on both ends. Let's see how they can like get this first push potentially started, Spicy.
Oh yeah, and like S-Blast especially, that's one of those weapons we've been seeing a lot of momentum and a lot of popularity, a lot of hype coming in, especially after this latest patch. And now you're going to see what we're going to have here to kick off this tournament. Immediately seeing a core already in play from the side of Magic Beans. Meanwhile, UFO trying to getting a bit pushed back. 2 down now from the side of Magic Beans. Make that note. Multiple members on both sides going down. 3 down already from UFO. Explosive start here. We're only in the first like 40 seconds of this game.
Exactly. UFO responds with the Counter's trying to throw that hammer. Will not take any targets there. 2 down on Magic Beans. I think UFO is trying to get a lot more space on their hands, but Azuka is coming after Magic Beans. This S-Blast needs to make a move here. They are a little bit out of position. I think they're going to be able to make it out relatively safely. That being said, Magic Beans' Power Clam is just gone in thin air. And now UFO has another Power Clam in their possession, but they're 3 down. I think they're going on 4. This Booyah Bomb is outnumbered, and they will go down.
Yeah, multiple members just going down constantly. It's just team fight. Everyone is just down at this point. No one has really been able to get into position to score. Magic Beans now trying to make something happen here. They have the Power Clam ready. You see the Wiper also having special. Booyah Bomb already over on the map. Hammer is now able to help get a pick. Zuka also in play. Multiple specials coming out at this point as you see members of UFO going 2 down in the process, and that is going to lead to the first score of the game here for Magic Beans.
Now it just depends how much clams can Magic Beans get into the clam basket here. If they can get to a 60 threshold here, that'll be a very good start going to this match. It looks like the basket will close at 74. They did not hit that 60 threshold, and that may be a little bit of the boost that UFO needs for a counter push. They do have the Pity Clam and could potentially build a lot more clams with their presence here. That being said though, Magic Beans is just cleaning up mid. It's a wipeout!
What a wipe that we saw on stream here, and now you're going to see Magic Beans now capitalize off of that. Forget the 60 threshold, we're already past the 40. Now going into a 35. Core is also very pushed up into enemy territory. Multiple specials being thrown out on the both sides. That hammer is throwing up a lot of damage, putting up a lot of pressure. The barrier does close here, but what a sequence of events and a great way to extend the lead for Magic Beans.
Exactly. UFO has not even gotten any Power Clams in, and meanwhile, Magic Beans is really close to a knockout if they can keep this pressure up. It doesn't look, actually does look like UFO will get a Power Clam in their presence. They still have the Pity Clam, and it's looking like they do have the space over on Magic Beans. They're already right up against Magic Beans' basket. The missiles are flying out from UFO as well. That's definitely a special that you do not see a lot now.
Oh yeah.
Luca does have the Power Clam ready to go. They will go down to, I think, what was I think that was the S-Blast coming in. It just depends on if they can make this push work. They are still having the space. I think the S-Blast is going 2 up, but then will go down. The fight is still on.
Yeah, that fight is still on, and the Zuka getting that pick, shutting down any pressure left that UFO had during that push. And here we are in the last, 90 seconds or so of this game. It's starting to be a dominant position here for Magic Beans. Despite not having the clams ready, they are able to take out multiple members of UFO in the process, make that a 3-down situation, having the tactical already online. Here they are, looking to make one more push, trying to put the dagger on things. There goes the basket, and there goes the clams. Here we are trying to see how much longer they're going to be able to do so. They're just keeping these picks going left and right.
Yoshino was on a hot streak there, taking down at least 3 targets with that V-shot. Good work of shooter movement, and Magic Beans' push is still alive. I think they're just holding their ground here. I don't think that Magic Beans need to do anything fancy anymore here. They pushed it to 26, and yet they're still stepping on the gas. Crazy will take out Rose, but then we'll go down to the S-Blast from UFO here. UFO has 50 seconds to make this push work. They need to get to 26. Meanwhile, Magic Beans just has another Power Clam ready to go.
Yeah, they already have another Power Clam. That's so pivotal for them here. It's going to be really difficult for UFO to make anything happen at this point. They have to get something going. They have to build that clam economy up, at least get a Power Clam ready, because at this point, it does look like Magic Beans can basically end the game here, have a checkpoint situation. Smith trying to just stay alive, getting shut down in the process. Yoshido once again trying to just lead this team to a great start here for Low Ink Day 1. Missiles already out. Cooler is also in play, just trying to stay alive here. It doesn't look like that UFO has much going for them at this time, and I think right now that should be the dagger soon, because while they do have the pity, I don't think it's going to be enough here. They have to make a push happen in this OT.
And here comes OT. This is UFO's last stand, but here comes Town with that Ultra Stamp. They will shut down Smith. They still hammer time. They will go down. But I think the Power Clam, Yoshi's moving and moving fast. They're gonna throw it in to close the game out here. Spicy, game 1, Clam Blitz will go to Magic Beans.
Yeah, Magic Beans here, already off to a hot start. That's what you want to see from one of the teams that are looking to be a favorite in this version of Low Ink. You really just saw from their end, their just the entire philosophy of the best defense is just a strong offense. They were able to just keep scoring. They didn't even need to knock out. But by having that constant offensive pressure, there was really not much that UFO was able to do in that game. And that was just so well played from the side of Magic Beans.
Exactly. I think what I did notice from UFO was that they were running a couple specials that were able to displace them correctly. Meanwhile, though, on Magic Beans, they were sporting a lot of weapons that could weave in and out of fights here. We saw the V-Wiper, we saw the V-Shot, and even when S-Blast does kind of have a little bit less mobility, he was able to work around the fights and play around a lot of the ledges that Barnacle and Dime had to offer and still provide a lot of good value for Magic Beans. UFO still has 2 more games left because, like you said, it is Play L3. Game 2 will be Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track.
Yeah, Rainmaker Humpback is a tried and true now, not only in Splatoon 2, but also now in Splatoon 3. And from what we've been seeing so far, like especially from the maneuverability, the movement that you're seeing from Magic Beans especially, I think this is going to go very well for them here. A map mode combination where they're really able to just maximize kind of their strengths here. And I think that's exactly what you want to be seeing here. UFO has to figure out a way to just either slow down the pace or try and match the speed that Magic Beans has been putting out, and I think they're definitely able to do so here. Maybe they're waiting for Rainmaker to really make something happen, and it's so critical because in Low Ink, every game matters here in day 1 where it is Play All 3. Here we are going into this second game. Time to see, do we got any adjustments on the board from either side?
And now we'll have to see here. We're still doing a little bit of a turnaround on the map. What are we going to see from Magic Beans? We're seeing switch to Custom Blaster and Machine It. That's a full comp switch up from Magic Beans. And I think from UFO as well. That's 2 well strings on the scene here, Spicy.
Yeah, we pivot from the S-Blast to now the well strings being the moves for both of these sides. So interested to see what's going to be happening here as we go into this second game. Bubble looks like it's already been popped, and now it's just seeing who's going to be able to make that first push. 2 down immediately going down from the side of UFO. Cooler also in play now from the side of Magic Beans as they are able to grab it and now able to just see what are they going to do. Pushing over onto that right checkpoint here. And it does look like they have a clean shot over now, and they're already in like 30 seconds. That's the first checkpoint already there for Magic Beans.
Anything, Magic Beans also managed to shut down an Ultra Stamp there. And meanwhile, Yoshi just slamming down with their Ultra Stamp, but there's an Ultra Stamp coming out from Rose as well. They are going to take out the Rainmaker holder on Magic Beans. They're 2 down. The bubble will immediately be polished by UFO. And UFO is going to immediately respond by taking back mid by Storm. It's just the Blaster as well as Town left in mid. And it's looking like Town is outnumbered and outgunned. They're going to be forced to push back a little bit further. Gustav is looking to get the slam onto the first checkpoint. It is heavily contested though with the well string, and I think the Blaster on the team, but Gustav will get the slam onto the first checkpoint. It is potentially worth it for UFO to still get going. It is though 60 to 34, and Magic Beans still has a very dominant lead here.
Yeah, and the thing here about Rainmaker is that now that both checkpoints are gone, these points are going to fly by if there's any opening available. It looks like UFO might try and get something going here as well. You're trying to see from both sides what's going to be happening. Booyah Bomb already coming out into play, trying to see what's going to be the option from both of these sides. You're now going to be watching Magic Beans see if they're going to be able to extend this push any further. They got the Rainmaker, they have the Tactical already here, trying to see what's the option going to be from their side. They're firing off those warning shots, trying to make an opening on their own. It looks like they're going to be able to do so for a bit. The bubble is already in play though, and here we are. A couple members from both sides starting to fly in down, but here is Magic Beans trying to extend this lead any bit, but they get shut down there. Great defensive hold from UFO.
Exactly here. They are going to manage to clear up a lot of loose ends that Magic Beans has. I think they also managed to get a jump down on their hands. There's 2 minutes 40 seconds left on the clock here. UFO still has a lot of time to work with. They just need to manage to find a way to break past with the initial first checkpoint here. And I think Magic Beans comp does have a lot of the moves to stop that. They have the Big Bubbler, they have the Blue Bomb, and they have the Ultra Stamp from the Wellspring. They've already taken down the machine. That being said, though, their Custom Blaster has gone down.
3 down?
Watch out for that Ultra Stamp, though! And here comes Yoshi, that's 2! It's hammer time!
Oh, it's hammer time, finding a triple, and that was one of the most clutch defensive holds you're gonna be seeing from the side of Magic Beans. Back against the wall for a bit, that could have been a scary disaster, but you see them just clutching up with the Wipers hammer play. Insanity here, but you now see that UFO has another shot with the Rainmaker, trying to get any more points if possible, just trying to see if they can find this netter opening. They have their own hammer this time. They're gonna try and take the lead here. They get stopped at the 38. But the lead is down to single digits.
It is 38-34. The lead is close. But that being said, BBG just takes out 2 members of UFO with the Rainmaker. Some people are just Rainmaker mains, and the Booyah Bomb's coming out from Magic Beans as well. They push their lead to 29. It may be little, but what is little is now massive here. It's 41-38 now, but Spicy. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's so close right now. Either team feels like they can win it with a big push. Rainmaker still finding some picks, and I've seen so much value out of this weapon this entire game so far. They get shut down in the last minute now because of the auto bomb, and that's a wipe. That is critical here, as Magic Beans are gonna have an opportunity to either extend this lead or maybe try and at least force UFO into a rough situation here with these last 40 seconds.
Instead, though, UFO is 2 members down here, and now Yoshi's coming out with the hammer once more. It will take out 2 members for another wipeout for Magic Beans. There's 30 seconds left on the clock, and UFO needs to act fast, though. There's no specials on their side. Can they make this work?
It's so close right now. It's now an opportunity here. You see that Magic Beans is holding on to this Rainmaker, just trying to time them out, seeing if they're going to be able to get some effect with these shots from this Rainmaker. It's finding and it's connecting. They're actually looking to extend it. They're trying to knock it out. And with that wipe, they are going to win game 2 as well.
These guys are on a hot streak, Spicy here. They win the game 1, and then after a very, very fight-heavy game 2, they proceed to close it out with a knockout. That's 2 games. That's 2 games won on Magic Bean's belt.
That was amazing. I know we were talking about it before, but it's like sending a message, making a statement here in low ink is such a big thing for a lot of these teams. Magic Beans took that to heart. They could have just timed out at the end of that Rainmaker game, but no, they go for the wipeout. They go for the knockout. That 1-2 combination, that's a message there saying we are ready. This is why we are one of the favorites for this event. And what an amazing way to end that game. Now as we go into this next, oh my gosh, I'm at a loss for words. That was awesome.
My hands are up calling Martin Scorsese. This is absolute cinema. And we're going into game number 3 now. We're going into Mako Mart onto zones here. And here's Yoshi's 3K with that hammer.
It was insane.
Oh man, those hammer buffs are nothing to scoff at, Spicy.
I was thinking about that before we went live. It's like, okay, now that there's the patch, what's going to be shifting a bit? And like hammer, that's one of the things we were thinking about. It's like, now we see that the hitbox is like very different. The damage is so much more impressive now, and it's such a more threatening weapon. And especially in Rainmaker, we were able to 1, make a push, 2, shut down an enemy push. Just with that was just incredible play. We're going into Splat Zone's Mako Mart, as you mentioned, for this last game in the play all 3 here. UFO still trying to get on the board here, but considering how they've been playing, especially with how close that Rainmaker game was, I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to steal this game 3.
This could be possible, especially now that we're shifting from a mode that requires a lot of aggression to a mode that requires a lot more paint coverage and a lot more control in mind. And we saw that a little bit from UFO within that match. They did have missiles at their disposal. I'm wondering if they could potentially bring that missiles back. I think that was Flingza on the side of UFO, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I would be interested in seeing like the Flings potentially come out as the option here from UFO. Really, anything to help with the paint control, because that is the name of the game almost for Splat Zones. Just being able to really control the map here, and that really gets emphasized in this mode. especially. But here we are now. Going into this next game, you see the return of the S-Blast from the side of Magic Beans. And okay, the S-Blast once again coming out, and the Flings are also, Octobrush also making its debut, I think, here today.
This isn't actually Octobrush's debut. This is the return of Gustav on the Octobrush. We saw them in Game 1 on Clan Blitz. I think this is their Clan Blitz comp, making their comeback into this Rainmaker. Not Rainmaker, into this Zones match now. And immediately, there's gonna be 3 down on UFO, and Magic Beans is immediately hot off the presses.
That was fast. I didn't even realize how fast they were able to take the lead there. You saw that UFO was able to take the zone, but they're once again now in a 3-down situation, and they have the missiles on deck here with that Flings, but they're having such a hard time of getting back in. The Tenta missiles are gonna be fired off soon, it looks like, as well as having another special coming in through, just trying to get back towards that zone. But here we are, Magic Beans are already past the 50 here, trying to see if they can hold on to the zone. UFO trying to take the zone, they are able to, but that Booyah Bomb takes it right back for Magic Beans.
Exactly, Zones didn't even stay neutral for so long. Meanwhile, Yoshi's just firing on all cylinders with this Trizuka, taking out 2 members of UFO. Yoshi's just on a hot streak. Are you clip farming, Yoshi? Holy crap, meanwhile, Magic Beans penalty points are almost down. They're into the 10s, they're gonna go into the single digits. This hold is not gonna seem to end. Crazy is just controlling the stacks, getting some chip damage onto Smith. They will take out Smith. They have more indirect shots. They are gonna take out Rose as well. And they have another Booyah Bomb ready to go in case the zone goes into neutral. And now, Magic Beans are out of their penalty points and starting to count down once more.
Yup, and this countdown is going to go by very quickly. That Booyah Bomb is putting on a lot of pressure up there in enemy territory. We're already past the 15 here. One last gas from UFO. Tenta missiles coming out. You see a couple players making their way towards the zone. Booyah Bomb going to come out, but I don't think it's going to come out in time as Magic Beans 3-0 in this round 1 of the Play All 3.
Holy crap. A Magic Beans sweep for the first set of stream. You just gotta give it to them, Spicy. These guys are in it to win it, I think.
They really are. Believe in the Beans. Just, oh my lord. We've been seeing just the outright just impeccable play from this side. It doesn't matter what map mode combination it was. It doesn't matter what comp they brought out. They were able to consistently just win team fights and then utilize that to maximize their advantage. And it was just textbook play. That's what you want to see from one of the favorites. And UFO was putting up a good fight for a lot of that set as well. So it really just goes to show how well Magic Beans are playing in that round 1.
Exactly. Before we, of course, I guess fly out here, I do want to give a shout out to that Octobrush here. Within both, I think, the games of the Clan Blitz as well as that Zones match, they actually showed out really well with that Zipcaster. You always got to watch out for something like that. And no glazing from us here. Let's look at what's been going on over in Group A for this first round of groups.
Yeah, you're seeing Poor Judgment, another team who's considered to be one of the favorites going into this month with another 3-0. Some other big wins here as well across the board. Delicious and Better Judgment in a close 2-1, it looks like. And you're seeing Overdrive and In the Trenches are still tied 1 apiece. Riptide as well, now being up 2-0 in their set against Scurvy. And really just across the board, some great results, which is exactly what you want to be seeing here in round 1 of Low Ink.
Exactly. A lot of these matches have ended with 3-0 set wins, which means a lot of the teams are really right off, like right into the battle, raring to go, looking to get more action, more experience down on their belts, wanting to send that message like we were saying earlier here. Meanwhile, over in Group B, we're seeing a lot more decisive matchups going here. Starzy Impact and Devora Meta are 1-1. Same thing with Hydra and Payback, as well as Octo Express and Rest and Milky Way. And Roulette and Gebruchen.
Oh yeah, a lot of these games are going down to the wire here, and that's what you want to be seeing. A lot of teams that are in potential for upsets as well. Starzy Impact, I think, was a team that was considered to be rated pretty highly going into this. You also see up in the top left, Idiots in Chat with a 3-0 win. Ink Phantoms as well with a nice 3-0. But really, it's, as you were mentioning, a lot of these sets are coming down to the wire. And if it's already like this in round 1 of Low Ink, who knows what we're going to be seeing here the rest of today.
Exactly. Round 2 is looking to be even crazier if this is what we've been seeing from round 1. Do you think we should probably call it a break for now?
We might be able to call it a break because, geez, if that round 1 told us anything, we're going to be in for an exciting rest of the tournament. So if we do want to take a break, that is perfectly fine. We will be right back.
And we're back. It's been a little bit of a break and we still need a little bit of time, but we're getting ready to start round 2 of Low Ink March 2025. Round 2 of a group stage. We're going into Group B to see what they've got in store. And who we have here is Hydra versus Rest in the Milky Way. Spicy, how are you feeling? How are you been?
I'm feeling good about this matchup here. You got two teams, both lost their first round in close manners. It looks like it was a 1-2 on both sides. So they're both trying to get that first win here in Low Ink. And I think what better way to do it than here in round 2, just to get something going. The nice thing about Low Ink is that you play a lot of sets here in day 1, and it's all play all 3. So you do get a lot of time to find your rhythm, get into that groove. You'll see teams who will drop their first set and then we'll just steamroll the rest of the way. That's how both of these teams are kind of looking at it right now. Hydra, I think they got a bit of an upset in their last round. Meanwhile, Rest in the Milky Way trying to see if they can be the team to pull off an upset here. Should be an exciting matchup here as we go into this second set.
I think we're not going to see the sets on stream just yet. I didn't lie, actually. Here is the rest of Group B going into round 1 after the results of a couple, maybe not a couple, but like a little while ago. There's been a lot of 3-0s and a lot of very close matches, like you were saying, a lot of 2-1s, 1-2s right across the board here. If we're looking at the teams that we're featuring right now, Rest in the Milky Way went 2-1 against Octo Express. Meanwhile, I think Hydra went 1-2 against Payback. So, if anything, like you said, this is the moment to start getting going.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that if you go 2-1 in your last set, you know you have the pieces together. It's just all about putting them in the right spot at the right time. And I think both of these teams are very capable of doing it. Rest in the Milky Way, it looked like they were able to bring it almost all the way there in that last set. Meanwhile, Hydra, I think, is a team who's just got to put make a couple adjustments, and they're definitely got to be a contender, I think, because I was looking at Hydra and looking at who we got here in this low ink. I'm thinking Hydra might be a bit of a dark horse team to maybe make that little bit of a big run here later on here, maybe in day 2. But really, it's about just getting into that spot, putting yourself in that position first. And here we are with these teams, just trying to see what do we got going in as we go into this next set. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be going in, if we get a chance to look at that map list, I'm pretty sure we're starting on Rainmaker Crableg.
Rainmaker Crableg, that's going to be an interesting pick for the first match. Of course, this map is Great City, and you've got to like deal with a lot of verticality on this map. You got to make sure that your pushes are kind of a little bit more safer, because I tend to see the teams going towards the right side checkpoint and then rushing straight for the knockout, but that's going to be really risky because you run the risk of getting a really deadly getting your push shut down by a really deadly flank from beneath you.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning it. The Greats are scary here on Crableg, and it kind of defines a lot of it. There's the verticality that's there as a result, but also with the Greats, it limits your ability to swim and really just refill your ink as needed. You see weapons like Spot Things really get some value on Greats as well as things like Buckets, just because like you're able to basically shoot through them, and it works nicely when placed with some verticality. So I'm really interested to see what are the options here, especially because like Rainmaker and Greats kind of don't always go hand in hand together, because you have one who's trying to swim, just go forward, go fast, and the Greats kind of slow you down naturally just because you're limited in your movement options. So I'm really curious to see how both of these teams approach this map mode going into the start of this second set.
Exactly. After the Rainmaker Crableg match, it was a TC, but I'm not seeing anything past it. That being said, you were saying a lot of options that could be useful here. I'm definitely going to think we may see a lot of blasters here. Blasters work well on the verticality. We saw that a lot on Barnacle and Dime as well as Mako Mart last set. I definitely would maybe think it's plausible. I definitely think it's plausible that we're going to see a couple of blasters on this Crableg match, not only because of the verticality, but also because it can just phase through those Greats and get a little bit of nasty indirects and potentially some nasty directs.
Oh, for sure, yeah, and like we saw blasters make quite their mark in that last set as well. In Rainmaker, I think it was actually too. So it's like definitely an option, I think, going here, especially because you're seeing things like the S-Blast really rise in popularity lately. The other blasters in and of themselves all have their own niches too. So I'm really curious. I'm really excited to see what we got going in. We're still waiting on, I think, one more member from one of the teams, but you were discussing like all these options. I'm so excited, honestly, just thinking about what do we got going, because like really the nice thing about Rainmaker is that they're especially on Crableg, there are a lot of options that you can be bringing out here, and like this whole with these teams just readying up, like kind of thinking about their game plan, it's really gonna be a matter of seeing like what are they cooking up now as they go in, as we start to, I think, have that final member in, and we're gonna be going into this next set shortly.
And here is the rest of the set. After Rainmaker Crableg, like I said, it was a TC match, and that's going to be on TC Inkblot, and the final will be Zones on Hagglefish Market. This is definitely also, I'd say, a lot of modes that tend to be played on those respective modes. Rainmaker on Crableg, Inkblot on TC, Hagglefish on Zones. It's once again hammering in a lot of the fundamentals that are really good for, low-level teams.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you look at Zones Haggle and you look at TC Inkblot, especially, where like those are map mode combinations that you've been seeing for a long time here. Really integral to like the fundamentals of the game, as you were saying. It's like Rainmaker Crab, like maybe not the most common map mode combination out there, but when you follow that up with two pretty prominent map modes in particular, it's going to like kind of go into that, because you're like, okay, we got game plans pretty much already established, because you have a feeling both these teams were very ready for TC Inkblot as well as Zones Haggle. So it really is a matter of testing not only your in-game knowledge, but your as well as your prep, your planning, and that's all exciting here. But it looks like we're finally going to be getting going here with this second set. Hydra against Rest in the Milky Way here for set 2 of Low Ink March 2025.
No more time for prep. It's time for action. Another little bit of a turnaround on Crablet Capital as we get to see the comps. Hydra is running 2 V-shots as well as 2 coolers. Meanwhile, I know that's Hydra. Lost in the Milky Way is running 2 shooters as well as 2 Hydras. Meanwhile, wait, yeah, okay, yeah, wait, that's Hydra. That's alright. Hydra's running 2 shooters and 2 coolers. Oh no, that's not even 2 coolers. That's the crab-headed. Whoops.
Not a problem, but like it's so interesting seeing double V-shots at this point in this game's lifespan. Like we've been seeing double shooters work, and I guess something is working here for Hydra because that is already a checkpoint, and they went on the left checkpoint this time. We were talking about the right checkpoint before this game started, and here they are. They get the big pick there with a hammer as well as a bubble combination, and they're already past the 50 now at that 47, and we're like only 40 seconds into this game.
If anything, I don't think that's actually Hydra. I think that's Lost in the Milky Way, actually. They managed to shut down Hydra's double V-shot comp with a lot of explosive weapons. They have the decav, they have the V-shot, they have the wall string. Meanwhile, Hydra is just here getting a 3-piece, managing to shut down Lost in the Milky Way's points. That being said, they push it all the way to 31 and will immediately start repositioning up at mid. Terra is under fire from the Zuka. They're already taking a lot of pressure, and of course they are the NZAP. They are the ones supplying the soda for the rest of Lost in the Milky Way. And now it's Hydra's turn to start pushing on the pedal and starting to run, but you can run from that Ultra Stamp toss from Sheever.
Oh, and that's such a clutch Ultra Stamp as well as Milky Way now trying to see what they're going to be able to do. They stopped a push from Hydra before it could get anything going here, and now it's a matter of seeing how much further are they going to be able to extend it. You saw the Zuka in play. You saw them just kind of picking away here, just firing off shots. Rainmaker is going to reset, and it's going to be interesting here to see what is going to be the option now. Just trying to see what's going to be their play, their approach as they get the pick as well, and just trying to see what's going to be happening because the Rainmaker's still over here in neutral. No one else is going to be able to pick at it, and it's really just a big fight over now, just trying to get an advantage.
Yeah, it was just a all-out brawl there on the Great there. The decav and the NZAP were hella pushed up. I think they were on tactical buff. That being said, though, Hydra does have that crab ready to go, but it's getting willed down by Sheever. Meanwhile, Sheever's going to go down to Nessa's Zuka, and now Koi is going to take a spot as well. I think this is Hydra's big break that they were looking for, and they're going to follow in Rest in the Milky Way steps. They're going to take the left checkpoint as well. Meanwhile, they've got a second Zuka to worry about that's going to take out Spada. Once again, Spada just can't catch a break in the Zuka. Meanwhile, Frog will take out 2 members of Hydra, stopping their push, and here comes Sheever with that hammer. Can it get any picks? The throw will not claim any victims yet, and now it's looking to be at an impasse for Hydra.
Yeah, Hydra at a bit of an impasse, as you mentioned. They have the crab tank going, trying to see if it's going to be able to get any other options as well. Just trying to see if it's going to be enough, but the Rainmaker is going to reset once again. About to be in the final 2 minutes of this game. A bit of a stalemate almost here. Both checkpoints look like they are off the board, and just what an option now. Just trying to get some picks here, as you are going to be seeing if Milky Way is going to be able to hold on, because Hydra is really pushing up. They're on the right side. Here comes the Greats, though. Have to fight their way here. Have to shred away about 30 points. That Zuka is going to shut them down, though, as that was pinpoint accuracy, just traditional marksman. That's gonna be enough here, but it does look like Hydra might be able to keep this Merrymaker push going. Just gotta be there, but not enough yet to take the lead.
And that's the problem with the Greats. You can't afford to start swimming on those Greats lest you start dropping down here. You have to do the slow walk and be potentially under fire from the rest that Rest in the Milky Way has to offer. Meanwhile, Hydra is firing on all cylinders here, but they're getting it stuffed once again here. This is just the choke point of all time here, and Hydra's still looking to get this fight down. They are going to take out the V-shot on the side of Rest in the Milky Way. I think they have the NZAP in sight as well. Terra is going to go under fire. Spot has gone down, but the Rainmaker has dropped now.
Yeah, and that drop is actually pretty well here, because it's not exactly in an easy position here for Hydra to pick it up and then take it to run up some extra points as well. It's only a 10-point difference here with this last minute to go. Sheever, once again, trying to find some extra picks, just trying to apply some long-range pressure. I hear Azuka in play. I hear Trife. I hear the Tech Cooler also up there, and it's a matter of seeing who's going to be able to make this one more decisive statement here. 30 seconds to go, and while that's a 2 down though, Hydra maybe have an opportunity to make something happen now.
They need to make something happen fast because the lead is close. It's 41-31. But that being said, Rest in the Milky Way is just firing down on the grates where the Rainmaker has been dropped. Maybe the choice to drop it down under the grates was a really genius play. Coin will take out Sheeper, but Sheeper's gonna go down, I think, to the Weld String, and Frog is just pushing in. I think they took down at least 2 targets of Hydra, and now there's only 3 seconds left on the clock, and no one from Hydra is on the scene. And with a pickup from Rest in the Milky Way, they will take game 1 of round 2.
Yeah, and Milky Way, what a plays from them. What a game. They had a great opening push, and I apologize to them for getting the teams mixed up in the beginning. But then, like, really, one of the most decisive plays was near the end, where they were able to just drop that Rainmaker into a corner where it's, like, not exactly easy to approach to. And, like, that kind of just made it so Hydra was like, they know they needed one more push to get something going, but it was in such a difficult spot, and whether intentional or not, that was a great option here from Rest in the Milky Way to just kind of use that as like their pseudo checkpoint move.
Exactly here. They just parked it in a really, really tricky spot for Hydra to get out of, since you're exposed to just so much fire coming in from even like the further ends of Rest in the Milky Way spawn. They were able to just lock down that entire zone super effectively. Shout out to Rest in the Milky Way. But of course, you know what they say about Hydras. When you chop off one head, 2 more spawn in their wake. So let's see what Hydra has in store on TC Inkblot.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Hydra can be doing here on TC Inkblot as well. This is a team who I'm thinking, as you mentioned, it's like, oh, just you beat them once and then they just come back. Maybe that's what they're waiting for here. Maybe it'll be a little bit as they get their groove going, but now this might be their opportunity to really make something happen here. And I'm so ready to see what do we got going. Tower Control Inkblot, tried and true map mode combination. You see this at all levels of play pretty much. And now, and you know that basically every team has a game plan for it. So I'm wondering, what are the adjustments going to be from both of these teams as we go into the second game?
Exactly. I think both of the teams are trying to rely on weapons that are more oriented around mid-range. I think even when Hydra is running 2 shooters, they're pretty effective at a lot of ranges when they have that Zuka. I'm wondering if they will switch to weapons that could be a little bit more frontline heavy. That way they can execute a push onto bats once they get to that first checkpoint. That is always a key move to do once you are on TC Inkblot. And we've got no more time for analysis as we're going into game number 2. Let's see what these teams have to offer, Spicy.
Yeah, I'm excited to see potential adjustments on either side. Hydra rolling out, bringing out the blaster, bringing out the splash as well. And you're seeing some other options coming out from the side of Milky Way here. Some great options. You're seeing the Stringer, you got the sword as well, and Neo Splash too. So really interesting options from both sides here. Excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, Hydra's sticking to the same, I think, backline core of the Headed as well as the N-Zap. That being said, Splatoon will go down to Balf. They have the Tri-Strike ready to go. They're actually going to push up right into Shiver's face. Shiver's going to go down, and now Hydra is on Soda Buff. They're riding this tower. They have the Tri-Strikes ready to rip in case they want to displace any further. They also have the Crab Tank ready to go. Ness is going to start firing onto his Spada. Spada just can't catch a break, and now they're moving towards the upper platform. They're moving towards Bats, and I don't think anyone is there to guard Nessa. That's 2 down on both teams here, and it's looking like the N-Zap is actually looking to pick up where Hydra's left off. They are still on tower.
Yeah, they're still on tower. They're at the second checkpoint. They're going to try and get past the 50. They're trying to break it here. Doesn't look like it was broken just yet. Never mind. As here we are. Hydra is playing on absolute fumes right now. They're doing so well just being able to do that, but they're now 3 down. Make that wiped out, and that's the stop you need here if you are Milky Way. They have the core. They have the Zipcaster as well. They are looking to be ready to make the push of their own here to cap off the first 80 seconds of that game.
Not to mention, if I'm seeing this right, Rest in the Milky Way have 3 specials ready to go. I think that Zipcaster did get cancelled, but they still have a Trizuka, and they still have the Killer Whale ready to go. I think all those specials at least the whale has come out, there's still a Izuka in their back pocket ready to go, because right now it's just a duel in mid to just see who can get a lot more picks and who can get a lot more immediate presence going on right now. There's 2 specials ready on Hydra's side though. The Tri-Strikes have come out, and there's also a Crab, as well as a Splashdown ready to go from Hydra, and it's looking like Hydra's actually looking to push up. They're going up the stairs, Alphas take out 2! That Neo Splash is putting in the business!
Yeah, the Neo Splash playing a bit of a Slayer role here. Not traditional, but when it works, and it does so much value there with that kind of accuracy and that kind of firing speed. And you see Hydra is just being able to maximize this push and keep this going. The specials are coming out in spades right now. Those 2 members going down here. Shiva able to get a 3, and that's such a clutch stop for them right now as Milky Way holds on at least a little bit longer.
Now, even still, Hydra pushed it all the way to 19! Well, the push is just still as strong as the first time around, and Bout is still in the paint here. They're pushing up to the front line, they're under fire from the lasers. I think they're under fire. They will go down to Shiva, though, holding down the backline with that Tri-Stringer. It's just providing so much pressure from the backline, and is always crucial. That being said, though, rest of the Milky Way is 2 down, and they still have a very steep hill to climb. It's 98 to 19, and now there's only 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, it's now a matter of seeing, can Rest in the Milky Way get a big push? That's a start. Getting 3 down briefly, finding another pick with the Zuka as well. They are now starting to get some momentum. They're at this first checkpoint here. They still have the lasers online. They have the core up and ready, it looks like. And they're going to be finding these picks. And they're rocking in with some great momentum. We got some Zipcaster action as well. And now just trying to see if Shiva's going to be able to keep this push going alive. Has to jump off a bit on the tower just to save their life, but here they are. They're at least whittling away at this lead here, getting a bit of a push, but it does look like it's gonna stop at least a bit for now as Hydra's starting to recuperate and get back in there.
And get back in they will with an explosive start with the splashdown. They will go down to 2. I think that was Frog as well. And now the tower is back in mid. We're looking to see potentially another big brawl happen as Frog will go down to Balf. Balf has the Tri-Strikes ready to go here. They can still just hold down mid in their presence. Oh no! Espada is just disconnected now! Rest in the Milky Way is 1 member down. Can they make this work with 1 minute left on the clock?
That would be cinema here, pulling off the comeback in a 3v4, especially when Hydra has the tower in possession, in control. Here, you see Hydra just really pushing up right now, knowing that they have a significant numbers advantage here. It's just J-Frong here now, just trying to say what's going to be able to maybe try and keep it alive, but that's 1 more push here from Hydra, and they're able to just keep this tower going. You look at the strikes coming out, offering as a bit of a smoke screen, offering as a way to just keep this push alive, and it does look like maybe, just maybe, this could be the final push here, but maybe not. You see it's some great action here in these last 10 seconds. It's so close right now, but the question is Milky Way going to be able to grab this tower and send us into overtime here with 1 second to go? Game is done, but what a game.
Definitely what a game. Oh, within that last couple of seconds, Rest in the Milky Way managed to finally find their footing. They managed to execute a really solid push onto Bats. They had a stellar frontline duo of that Stamper as well. I think they were assisted by, I think, was it their V-Shot? They just managed to just disrupt Hydra's backline for a little while. And even still, the backline riding the tower, the Stringer assisted by, I think that was Frog as well. They managed to hold down the fort, but then they go down, and next thing you know, the tower's right back to mid, and then they lose their footing once again. That being said, though, Hydra has now won a game on the set. It's 1-1 as we go into Splat Zones on Hagglefish Market.
Yeah, Splat Zones on Hagglefish for this Game 3 will be a pretty cinematic ending here to what's been a great set so far. You hate to see a disconnect come in at any point during the game, but sometimes it's just how the game goes. But now, here we are. Well, assuming we get full rosters coming in towards this Game 3, it should be good to see what we got going. And really, it's been really great to watch because both these teams have been playing so well. You saw what happened in Game 1 where Rest in the Milky Way was able to get big pushes of their own and then hold on defense. And then Hydra responds in an emphatic fashion there on Game 2. So this Game 3 is really anyone's to win.
Exactly. And we definitely did see a lot more aggression coming from both teams with those shooters. We saw the Neo Splash and we saw the Stamper. These are definitely weapons that could benefit a lot from being on Splat Zone, then especially on such a potentially flat map as Hagglefish Market here. You don't really need to worry about a lot about worrying into bumping into a lot of verticality on Hagglefish.
Yeah, you're a very good point. It's very flat in that aspect. You don't really see too much there in terms of the verticality, really, because there really isn't much aside from like the glass tents. You are now going back into this replay here, and you saw that Hydra already got off to a big lead, but you do know the rest of the Milky Way was able to stop some stuff here and really get something going, despite Hydra taking this push all the way there. Sheber was starting to lead this push with a great triple of their own, able to stop the bleeding for a bit at 19, help get back into that position to get back into that game. And really, who knows what could have happened if we saw both teams still maintain full lineups going in that way. But here we are, going into a deciding game 3. Should be a big one to watch.
I think definitely I love how we managed to get that replay of Sheber getting that triple. And I think immediately after Sheber got that triple, that's when Rest in the Milkway started getting their push on. Exactly. All it really just takes is one good play, and they just get going from there. We're past that point now. We're into game 3, and like you said, hopefully we can get full rosters this time around.
Oh yeah, we hate to see disconnects affect the game at any point, really, especially here in Low Wing. But now it's really just seeing what do we got going here, and now you have a bit of a cooldown period for both of these teams here. If you're Rest in the Milky Way, you got a bit of time to like strategize here. Hydra has also got some opportunities to think about what went well for them in that game 2 and how to adjust going into this game 3. Splat Zones Haggle is very much a map mode combination that these teams have game plans for. They are definitely prepared to play them. But here we are, it's just a matter of like refining what we know, just tuning up those little things, because like especially in Splatoon, a lot of the games can be won with those little micro interactions. Just like small decisions can go a long way. So really having that plan going and being able to execute it here is going to be the name of the game as we end off this last game for the second set here on Low Ink.
I think some looking into chat and looking into the comms, I think Spada had to jump out in their place for seeing Callium for Rest in the Milky Way. A little bit of a roster switch up as well for Rest in the Milky Way. We'll just have to see what is in store for them. It's going to be potentially a completely different fight for Hydra to fight, and still potentially a new fight for Rest in the Milky Way to fight, because I think across the board, these two teams have been very, very versatile with their comps. They're willing to switch things up just to see like what works in the wake of a loss.
Oh, that's very true. I really like the versatility that both of these teams have, because you're able to use that and then really just kind of like change up the game plan pretty much whenever you need to, whether it be in between games or even mid-game. I liked having that kind of flexibility, especially if you're noticing that like, okay, the game plan we had going in wasn't exactly working right away, but now we're able to change things up here, and having the player swap as well could be what they needed, maybe just for the more stable connection, but also maybe just to get the team back into a winning method here, get back into those winning ways. Really, especially because like we've been talking about how close a lot of these sets have been, just looking at like the different rounds and the different like games, like just in that scoreboard. But every game really matters here. This is once again, this is actually the second game 3 for both of these teams going already, and it's only the second round.
Exactly, and with that ring of the bell, it's time to get into this last game of round 2. What do we have in store from both Hydra and Rest in the Milky Way? We'll just have to find out.
Yeah, this is the deciding game here for this set, and really you want to be able to get that first set win here. You're seeing the Octoshot coming into play now from the side of Hydra, and then you're seeing the T-Tech now on the side. So a lot of splatter shots and variations in play now, and almost kind of similar comps pretty much across the board.
Exactly. This definitely feels like both teams are capitalizing off of Bazooka as well as the Tri-Strikes to at least cover their zones and get some picks in the wake of it. Zone is still in neutral, and it's just an all-out brawl. I think Hydra is on cooler buff though, and I think they were trying to look for a flank, but Nessa, I don't think you're firing at anything now. That being said though, the T-Techs have, at least the shots have gone down on both sides. The Tri-Strikes have come out from rest of the Milky Way, and they will get the zone immediately back. But here comes another set of tri-strikes from Hydra, and that's gonna recap zone for them. It's just, they're going strike for strike, potentially Zuka for Zuka here.
Oh my gosh, and a Zuka for Zuka, and now it's a matter of seeing who's going to be able to take this lead here, and it's just really close already at this point. You're starting to see what Milky Way is going to be able to keep going with this lead here. You've seen Terra now able to just hold on now as much as possible, as you're seeing they're able to start whittling away now, just trying to get at those points and just keep extending this lead here. It's just great gameplay so far from this side, and just seeing if they're going to be able to keep this going here, as they're already going to be maybe past the 50 soon.
Definitely here, and they will break past the 50 threshold right before Hydra retakes this zone and apply a 39 penalty point bonus here. That's definitely what Hydra's been looking for. That being said, the what's it called? the Super Chumps will at least keep them in the fight for a little bit longer now, and it's looking like, I think Rest in the Milky Way is trying to get this zone back. It's once again in neutral. Callium's taking the front line. That being said, they're running away from this Zuka shot that Hydra has to offer, and they will recap zone once more. 39 more penalty points for Rest in the Milky Way.
Yeah, and that penalty is so huge now, because Hydra's able to have some breathing room, but they're having a hard time maintaining the zone, because like Milky Way is doing such a great job of neutralizing it multiple times, and now flipping the zone. They put some penalty points now on the board for Hydra, as now as Milky Way tries to make their way out, this zone is once again just going back and forth. It's so hard for either team to get an established hold, as Hydra now once again has the zone. You see a lot of bombs are being thrown out, a lot of firing shots just over across the board. Hydra's trying to hold on just to get out of this penalty, but the zone's back into a neutral state once again. Hydra maybe going to be able to secure zone, maybe not, as you do see another flip Milky Way, and now back to neutral. What a game we are watching so far.
I think this is what happens when both teams are packing such explosive specials. They are running 2 strikes, 2 Zukas, and meanwhile Hydra has the crab tank as well. And I think Hydra has the crab tank as well to potential. Was it Hydra? No, it is Hydra having the crab tank. In terms of specials, though, that's another set of tri-strikes coming out from. I think that is that's Hydra as well. And Rest in the Milky Way is just looking to just hold their ground. It's still 48 within 66. The Soda has come out from Callium now, and now I think Rest in the Milky Way is looking to just retake space here. But here's a Zuka that's gonna get cancelled by Callium here, and I think they're just playing from the sidelines. That's an interesting spot for a Headed to play. That's specifically from the Soda Headed.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting positioning here. You see what a pick with that Trizuka, getting rid of that crab tag. You saw the positioning there from Rest in the Milky Way, and they were able to really maximize that, especially doing so with crucial timing, because Hydra was almost able to take the lead. If we are down to a 5-point lead, not counting the penalty points with less than 90 seconds to go, T-Tech has the strikes online, throwing the strikes out towards the zone. They're going to be able to capitalize as Rest in the Milky Way once again has control, gets neutralized though in the process, and now it's once again just such a firefight as Hydra takes zone, gets back into neutral. Who's going to be able to just hold the zone just for an extended period of time? It's just a matter of seeing what is going to be the deciding play.
All this zone a pancake, because we will not stop flipping it here. That being said, the shot's gone down, and with a pincer play by Hydra, they will flip the zone once more here. There's 1 minute left on the clock here, and they're really close to expending all of their penalty points. Nessa has gone down right before their crab tank has come out, and here comes the chumps, and they're getting flanked by Frog. Zone has been flipped. Frog gets 2. Frog is still in the firefight. They will get down 2. I think that is Bao. Bao's jumping back. They do have the strikes, but Rest of the Milky Way has a very iron grip onto zone. They're almost out of their penalty points. They hold the space. Hydra needs to take this back fast.
Yeah, the strikes are coming out immediately, but double strikes coming from both sides now. It's gonna keep it neutral and Rest in the Milky Way. 10 seconds left to go. A 2-down situation now for Hydra. If they can hold on for now, this will be enough to keep them in and to get them their first set win in low ink. Zone's back into neutral. One last gasp, and it's going to work out here. As you see, Hydra still staying alive, is able to keep the zone up. It's into play. The zone is still yellow as Hydra's still alive, and they're out of their penalty now.
And now we enter overtime here. Hydra cannot back down nor give up. The Zuka's coming out from Coin. They are under shot from chip damage from the Tri-Stringer, but they still have control. Watch out for that curling bomb that can still paint space, but they're getting close to the 10 threshold. The strikes have come out from wrestling MIlkway. Zones in neutral. They need to beat this fast. They will flip it once again. The pancake is still being flipped. Frog has gone down.
They take the lead at the very end, and right when it looked like Hydra was going to lose in regulation, they were able to clinch the zone, send it to overtime, and then in the dramatic set, we're able to pull it out here and win this 2-1 here to end round 2 of Swiss.
Oh man, you called it, Spicy. We witnessed cinema here.
That was cinema. Oh my lord. That was it's only round 2. Round 3 is they're gonna go into round 3 like right away, because I know that this was, I think, the last game. So like, what an insane sequence here, and like we're going right into this next round 3, kicking us off very soon. It's gonna be insane here. You're just watching this replay, just how close it was at the very end. The zone just like is back to neutral, flips, neutral, and it's just like, I am at a loss for words for what we just saw.
Exactly here. Definitely want to give the shout out to Bao here. They cleaned up the front lines, not only within that TC match, but especially when they needed to within this overtime push. Shout out to Bao and Hydra, and shout out to rest in the MIlkway. You guys put on such a great show in this round 2. And like Spicy said earlier, we're not even taking a break, and we're going straight into round 3 to witness. We're gonna see, who are we gonna see again? I forgot what we were gonna see.
Yep, Origami Dragon and Adult Swim to go into round 3 here of Swiss for Day 1 Low Ink. We're back into Group A here. Need to take a quick look at these teams' records, because like we have, after what we just saw, it's like back in now. It looks like Origami Dragon is 0-2, meanwhile Adult Swim is 1-2. So really just seeing from the side of Origami Dragon, get that first win on the board here. Meanwhile, Adult Swim trying to improve that record as well, because going 2-1 after round 3, pretty good spot to be in here. But hey, anything can happen here, and just from what we've been seeing this entire tournament, whoever's just playing well, whoever gets hot, might have a chance to just take it all the way here in Day 1.
Exactly here. It's looking in terms of their match records. Origami Dragon went 0-3 against Freedom Dive, HBD Flame. Meanwhile, and then in round 2 went 1-2 against Raining Jellies. Meanwhile, Adult Swim went 0-3 initially against Sean Fearless, but then went 3-0 against Chips Paprika. Potentially, we have the potential to see another upset within the making. Our first map mode of the set will be Clam Blitz on Museum d'Alfonsino. Clam Blitz, if you're in chat, now is the time to come alive.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And Clam Blitz Museum, this has been long considered one of the best map mode combinations in this game for its consistency and as well as the ability to kind of just be an equal level footing for like both of these teams here, regardless of whether you're on offense or whether you're on defense. And I think really going into Clam Blitz for game 1, I think is really fun, especially because in Low Ink, one thing that Clam Blitz is always known for is that it's really the mode that really focuses the most when it comes to team play. And now here at low level in Low Ink, it's just going to be a matter of showing which team is going to have the fundamentals, not just in the individual aspect, but also within the team aspect. And it's so critical, especially at this stage of the tournament.
Especially, I consider Clam Blitz on Museum is specifically one of those modes where you kind of have to win. It's one of those maps where you kind of have to win 2 team fights in order to start pushing your clams in a lot here. You got to win a big team fight around mid, and then you got to win it again at like the upper platform spinner to start getting a push in. This is definitely a good spot to at least see what these teams have in terms of executing a push not correctly, but executing a really good push right off the bat. After Clam Blitz Museum d'Alfonsino, we're going to see Rainmaker, Scorch Gorge, and then Umami Ruins.
If we go to a deciding game 3 on Splat Zones, once again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to handle it after what we saw in that last round. But you never know here. Like, I'm looking at this, and like a lot of the games we've been seeing have been just so fun to watch thus far. So I'm looking at this map mode list, and I'm just thinking, we're going to be in for a good set. And you'll love to see that here from the spectators as well as the commentator point of view. As a player, this must be exhausting, though, because you're already seeing, like, especially after that round 2, like, you got a lot more sets after this one, too. It's a matter of now really just managing your stamina, managing your, like, mental as well, because, like, you still got a long day of Splatoon ahead of you, and there's still day 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, this isn't the beginning of low ink in March, like you said. We have an entire second half of this tournament and an entire Sunday. One more day of battling, and we're almost ready to go from both Origami Dragon and Adult Swim. Let's see what they have in store for Clan Blitz in Museum del Fontino. I think, oh man, it's like you said earlier. I think I'm slowly starting to run out of words, but I've still got more in me. Let's see what these teams have in store for us.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what we got in terms of comps, especially because both these teams have some great pocket options that I've been looking at in their sendus, and now you're seeing some great stuff already coming out, including decals, and you see the RPD coming out now as well as the Inkbrush Nouveau. Some great options really from both sides, not exactly always traditional, and one thing to notice is that it does look like that from the side of Adult Swim, they are running a coolerless comp.
Maybe they don't even need the cooler because they're running a lot. They're at least running 2 weapons that are really fast on their feet. They're running the Inkbrush. They're running the Tetra. But can they potentially outrun the amount of gunning that Origami Dragon has in store? Renzo's dashing in and out. They will go down to the RPD from Korn. I think that was a direct as well. And here come the Whale. I think they have Risotto targeted. And I think they will take out Ryu as well. But they will go down to, I think, was that beheaded from Origami Dragon. The fight is still on and players just jumping in and out of the fight. Were they trying to throw clans to Harpy? Do they notice Harpy's there?
Oh, that would have been such a big push. And look at that. The Reef Slider coming in, taking a massive pick as well. Both of these teams have had explosive openings so far, but no clams have been scored yet in this first minute. You see a lot of clams now on the side of Origami Dragon, including the Power Clam now with that Splatoise, able to see if they're going to be able to make an opportunity here for Danny, who's just trying to get opening and try and get something going for their side. Crab Tank online, and you also see the cooler in play. Bubble's not going to be able to be popped, and there's multiple members of Origami Dragon go down. Adult Swim holding on for now, trying to see what's going to be happening as neither team has been able to score yet.
Maybe they don't even need the cooler because they can just shut down pushes without it. Shout out to Adultson for making this work and managing to shut down a push before it could even start. Harpy, they do have the Power Clam ready to go, and a lot more clams in wake. I think the clam economy is definitely even, but they will jump back with it. And now Origami Dragon has 2 Power Clams into possession. Danny's immediately going to go down, but they beckon Ryu to their position. They do have the bubble ready to go, but that's 3 down thanks to that Reef Slider from Harpy. Renzo is late in wait. They are going to take out Korn. Can they take out Harpy? No! Harpy's going to shut down Renzo. So is this Adult Swim's big break?
Yeah, it's looking like they might have an opportunity. The Inkbrush goes down, and it goes as another special off the board. Wave Breaker in play here. Shisa able to find a long-range pick. Finds a couple players also marked. The Tetra still has the Power Clam as well. They are still in an opportunity to maybe make something happen. Shisa able to get something going. They see that the Power Clam is gonna fall backwards, though. Not opportune at all. As you saw, they had an opening almost secured, but it's not enough. Halfway through the game, neither team has scored yet, and it's been so difficult just getting to the basket.
Consider this unstoppable force and immovable object, but meanwhile the immovable object known as Origami Dragon is starting to take their turn to be the unstoppable force. Ryu claiming no targets with that Kraken Deluxe, but the hammer, but the jump! Danny will get the first score of the match after so long!
Yes, and that's only a 1 score, though. So it's a matter of can they get anything else here? It doesn't look like they'll have the opportunity to. And look, multiple Power Clams are already ready from the side of Adult Swim. It's a matter of seeing, can they get this push happening? They have 2 down now from the side of Origami Dragon. And you're seeing Korn able to do something here with the RPD and just really trying to poke, trying to get some pushes here. Because you see that they have the opening option. They have the hammer as well from Player, who has the brush as well as the extra movement options here. Can they get something going? Hammer's going to be coming in. Going to be making that pathway over towards the basket, trying to see if they're going to be able to get anyone else to make a shot over there. No one's been able to follow up, though. The big hit from Shisa here with the Splatling is able to keep this push going for a bit, but no one has been able to score yet, unfortunately, for Adult Swim.
They had 3 power clams in their wake here, but unfortunately, when you have 3 power clams in your wake, that's 3 people marked. And that being said, Origami Dragon had their targets, and they razed them down. Meanwhile, they're right back on the offensive. Someone is at 7. Meanwhile, Renzo is just deep in their backline. They're in there like swimwear. They just need to get a power clam ready to go, and then Renzo can get their push. But I think there's notice by player. They get stamped down by that hammer. Meanwhile, players at 6, I think they could potentially get another power clam ready to roll. And that's something. That is something that Adult Swim has been really good at doing, managing to just run around the map and grab enough clams to just build power clams without needing to blink for the pity. Here's player once again. They will get shut down and outgunned by Ryu. It's a trade though. Risotto is just holding down the mid line, trying to get a little bit more space, a little bit more stray picks, a little bit more chip damage. That is going to be assisted by the Decapitator. They still have the power clam in their wake. Really, all of Adult Swim really needs to get a couple more clams in. And now, Origami Dragon is 3 down.
3 down, 20 seconds left to go, and there's a power clam also in play here for Adult Swim. The Tetra's going to be going down here. It does look like the player still up. Maybe able to get towards that clam. There's the basket. And can they get the lead here? They need one more clam in these last few seconds while the basket is still open. They are able to get the lead here. Can they keep the basket open now to secure it now? There's a 3-down situation here into an OT as well. The basket is going to close, but OT has triggered, and Risotto trying to make one final play, making their way towards the basket. It is going to connect. Then it take the lead off of that. What did we just see?
All of the action happened within the final minute of this match, Spicy! This insane! Not a lot of clams going in for the first 2 minutes. Then immediately going in, the lead has been taken by Origami Dragon. And even when Adult Swim tried again and again to just break through the basket with the amount of speed that they have, they just weren't able to break past Origami Dragon's defense. And then once OT immediately happened, even when it looked like Adult Swim had the lead, Origami Dragon just strikes back here, sending the power clam right down in overtime.
I can't believe this. You get the replay of Risotto. They get wiped out at the very end, but the buzzer beater pretty much being able to just throw it in as they get picked off to take the lead and in overtime. I didn't think we were going to get much better after the end of that round 2 game, and here we are. That was just the first game of this playoff 3 in this 3rd round. We're going into Rainmaker's Scorch Gorge here, and after what we saw on Clam Blitz, where all the scoring was near the end, I'm wondering what it's gonna be like here in Rainmaker, where it can be, after that first checkpoint, it can be so hard to score at times.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we saw a lot from Adult Swim was something that was extremely fast. They were capitalizing off of potentially getting a good speed blitz right into it if they can get an early wipeout, and then immediately capitalizing on the amount of space that they gained from that. And you said they were running coolerless, so I think they were like really trying to up the ante on that. Maybe all that Adult Swim really needs to back up the amount of speed and the amount of aggression that it has is potentially just to have a cooler as well, just to at least have that fail safe just in case they go down and there isn't anyone to follow up on them. Meanwhile, I'd say Origami Dragon, they do have a lot of I think versatility. They have a lot of midline pressure, and I think frontline pressure coming in from that Decapitator. I think they just have to up the ante on what they've already done here, and potentially, if anything, both teams just have to maybe, I think, just get going as soon as possible.
I think get going as soon as possible is probably actually the best way to put it, because you saw both of these teams, they had all the resources, they're setting up for the push. It was just actually just breaking through enemy defense, which was the really big struggle for both of these teams, because on one hand, both of these teams had just phenomenal defensive plays, and the other is just a matter of like sometimes Staggered is just really not making all of the best plays happening. We're going in now to this second game, trying to see what are the adjustments on both sides here. Fairly similar comps from at this time, seeing the splash come out here as well as the Order Sword here, just seeing here we are. What's going to be the option here? Is immediately going in, trying to get the rollout, seeing who's going to be able to get that bubble first, and then maybe make a push early on.
Exactly. It's looking like the bubble is predominantly teal. It will be popped by Origami Dragon. Renzo is looking to make their sword find its target. I think they had the backline in their sights, but they aren't able to push up directly here. The shot has already gone down on Origami Dragon as well. Donnie does almost have the crab tank ready to go. That could potentially provide a lot of presence, but there's 3 down on Adult Swim, and I think this is Origami Dragon's big break, and they're gonna go down through the grates.
Oh, going through the grates. You don't expect to see that. You saw a lot of Adult Swim was not expecting that play. They were positioned over towards that other checkpoint, and Donnie there able to get a big move there, getting a lot of stuff going. They're able to dodge that Reef Slider as well, and this has been a great sequence of events here. They're able to get a little more extra credit here, taking it up to the 59, but that's only the first minute, and if that last game told us anything, there's still a lot of Splatoon being left to play.
And the fight is still on here. There's still a lot of mid to take control of if you're both Origami Dragon and Adult Swim. That being said, the Rainmaker is popped. No one's picked it up. This could potentially be an opportunity for Origami Dragon to start pulling off a sneaky peeky. That being said, they are unstoppable. Rainmaker has been reset. The Wave Breakers come out, I think, from Adult Swim now. They will all be marked and they all will be under fire from that Crab Tank coming in from Chisa. That being said, they still have a predominant control of mid. It really just depends on if Adult Swim can actually get a good jump in, if they can claim any targets, can get a lot of pressure when they need to, and that time is now. There's another Wave Breaker being deployed by Chisa. This is really useful for them, and players just working in and out of this fight. They're going to take out Risotto. Is this what they need to get going? Chisa is within range of the Rainmaker. Will it be picked up? They will!
And the Crab Tank duel up top, it looks like players able to now, the switch over has been able to do a lot of work here. And you're trying to see, they get the Rainmaker now for Adult Swim, who's not able to break the checkpoint just yet, getting stopped a few points short here and going 2 down in the process. You're seeing player being forced to jump back as multiple names are just trying to stay alive at this point because Origami Dragon has been on a phenomenal run when it comes to defense thus far. Approaching the halfway point of this game, and OD is now once again in control of the Rainmaker here. Zuka in play, Rainmaker also firing up some shots from long range. They're trying to get this extra push going. Has some plays to do so here. But they're going to lose the Rainmaker before getting any more points.
Exactly here, but the lead is really close. It's 59-69, a 10-point margin. Corn will fire up the lasers. They will take out Risotto. Can they take out any more? Can they provide any more space for Adult Swim? Because that's exactly what they need to have right now. I think they are kind of outgunned in terms of paint control, but can they work through it with the amount of speed they had? Corn's landing some nasty indirects. Can they take out someone with that RPD? I think the splash has gone down here. They're just stuck in mid. Can they break out? Harpy's gonna pop the Reef Slider. They will take out Renzo, but now Harpy's gonna go down as well. It's just an all-out brawl here in mid. No one is making it out.
It's so hard to make it out at this point, as you're mentioning, and especially when you have a Zuka right coming at you at that point. And it's just now a matter of seeing what's the option from both these teams going to be. Crab Tank is positioned right there, and you see Origami Dragon able to kind of bait the Rainmaker out and from being picked up there, and that was just great plays from their side as they hold on to this 10-point lead. Adult Swim still has to break through that checkpoint as well, which is going to be probably their biggest barrier here. They have a special online with that RBD, and now we're just trying to see, can they get something going? This is where the things really start to shape up and heat up in this action. The Zuka coming out though, and here we are, and I'm at the last minute, but that Zuka once again finding picks, and it's a 3 down here, as it looks like Origami Dragon able to take the Rainmaker and try to extend the lead even further.
They extend the lead further as a result here, but Risotto is going to go down to so much pressure being locked into a corner. It is 41-69 here. Or Adult Swim needs to start upping the ante and doing that fast. Player has a Crab Tank ready to go here. They already have taken down the Dualies, and they have the Rainmaker. There's 35 seconds left on the clock and counting. They need to make this push work into overtime. And considering what they've been able to pull off last game, this looks to be possible. Harpy sent the Reef Slider once more, but Harpy's gone down once more. Same thing with the Rapid Blaster now. It's only Player and Chisa left here, and it's a Zuka close range by Ryu. Can they shut this down? They will.
What a shutdown here. That's so big here for Origami Dragon. It's now a matter of seeing, can they hold on to this? If they can just secure the Rainmaker or prevent them Adult Swim from picking it up here and shutting it down, that will be game, and that's going to be enough there. Origami Dragon taking the second game here, and with that, I think that'll be their first set win of the day here, going now being 1-2 after round 3 here, but we still do have one more game left in this playoff 3.
Exactly here. Even still, they managed to take this game back and finally claim that first set that they've been looking for against Adult Swim. Now, we're going into game numero 3. What are we going to again? We are going to Splat Zones on Umami Ruins, and I definitely would like to say this is something that Origami Dragon could potentially still excel in. They have so much firepower and so much ability to just cover space, and that's definitely what you could do with a Splat Zones match. That being said, Adult Swim still has that speed, and they were still willing to adapt to have a little bit more firepower. We saw their brush switch to a Splash-O-Matic, and they have the versatility, but they still have a lot of that frontline aggression. And considering that Umami Ruins has 2 zones to look out for, this could potentially be something that Adult Swim could just run laps around.
For sure, yeah. I'm looking at this, and like Umami, especially having 2 zones on this map, it's pretty integral to have like the extra firepower, the extra speed in that sense, just being able to navigate the map around a little more, especially because like after getting control of the zone, you can definitely choke out the enemy to a certain point as well. So it's now just seeing how are these teams going to approach it here, especially because looking at this, Origami Dragon, yes, has won the first 2 games and have done well to win this set. But you notice that Adult Swim has been right up there, has been hanging tight with them this entire time. Had a few things gone differently in either of those games, you can be seeing a very different set right now. And so with these teams being as even as they are, it's just a matter of seeing who can execute the game plan better going into this final game.
Exactly. What can they make? Like, what can they do in order to make this final game work? Can they at least get 1 game down on their belt to get a little bit more out of this set? We'll just have to see. It just depends on what we're gonna see from I think from Adult Swim. They have the willingness to be versatile. Can they do one more switch up to potentially shake up Origami Dragon's Origami Dragon's composition? Because they've been running the same comp for Origami Dragon has been running the same comp, I think, for the last 2 games, if I remember correctly. So
yeah,
they're starting to get predictable.
Yeah, with that data, you have some options maybe to like, okay, what's the counterplay going to be? Because now we also have 2 games of seeing how they've been playing, just to maybe counteract the different strategies and different approaches that we've been seeing. Are seeing a couple variation switches as well from that side now. And you're seeing Adult Swim as well, bringing out some new weapons. Dreadringer is notably making its debut, I think, for today here in Low Ink. So it's going to be interesting to see how both these teams off to play, especially Dreadringer getting some more momentum in play lately.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely interesting to see that we're only seeing Dreadringer now, considering how much of a breakout weapon it's been. And there's already 2 down on Adult Swim, and Ryu's just chasing down the rest of these Adult Swim members as they will take first zone. They do have the Zuka ready to roll. They also have Tacticooler ripped as well. That's a Zuka point blank. That's 2 down once more on Adult Swim here. And if anything, Origami Dragon is bringing the aggression to Adult Swim's house.
Yeah, and like Origami Dragon not letting up whatsoever at this point. A lot of the map is just being painted in this pink color. And you see, it's been difficult for Adult Swim to get really in at all. The Re-Slider basically coming in from both sides, but really being utilized most from the side of Origami Dragon. Adult Swim, though, able to tap the zones now, is able to get a lead to potentially see if they're going to be able to whittle away here, get something going, and try to keep this push alive.
Exactly. Shisa has the Wave Breaker ready to go. This could potentially hinder a counter push from Origami Dragon. It's looking like they aren't really willing to get out of their base yet, and I think they're holding this down really well. Cordy's holding down this ledge, exactly what a Dreadringer can do correctly, and they are almost at Reef Slider once again. That's good for flipping it, especially now that Donnie has the Reef Slider. It's going to come out. It will not claim any targets, and they're going to be responded with Player's Hammer. They will get the lead, and that's exactly what they needed to. It's 42-48, and they're still in control, Spicy.
Yeah, and the 2v2 situation's coming out briefly here, and all of a sudden, Adult Swim has turned this game on its head. Wavebreaker now in the middle of between both zones here. 2 down once again from the side of Origami Dragon. The zones are in a bit of a neutral state here, but once again, Adult Swim able to keep taking some points down here, and they're looking to maybe just finish it off now. We're down to the single digits here. Can Origami Dragon save this game here? Prevent a push from happening? Once again, though, there's resliders and the pushes as Adult Swim getting a game here in this round 3, but it's still gonna be the set here. But what a great showing from both of these teams.
Exactly here. I think what I was saying earlier was that Adult Swim really just needed to be versatile one more time, and that switch to that Dreadrigger I think was exactly what they needed to do in order to get that game down on their belt. They were running not just one, but 2 sliders because the Tetras, because I think, Tetras still stayed on that Tetras, and then the bonus slider coming out from the Dreadrigger, it just provided a lot of more zone flipping potential. Not to mention, I think Shisa with that V-Heavy, with that Wave Breaker, was still holding down the fort like they always were. And that Wave Breaker, I think, saw a lot more value out on Game 3.
Oh yeah, the Wave Breaker was putting in a lot of work in Game 3. You saw how it's been able to just reveal the positions of the enemy team, as well as just offering that extra damage. So you got a lot of utility from that Wave Breaker, and it was just kind of pivotal to their results in the end. Once again, a great showing from both of these squads here, and really, from the first 3 rounds of Low Ink that we've seen on stream here on IPL, it's been amazing thus far, and it's just goes to show how good of a tournament this is going to be. If this is only the 3rd round, geez, we still got another half of this tournament left, as well as day 2 tomorrow.
Exactly. Here there is, like you said, Alpha Bracket. Is it Alpha Bracket? Yeah. No, we're going into the last 3 rounds of groups on the second half of the tournament. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be casted by us, Spicy.
Correct.
Unfortunately so, but here's the recap of Group A Round 3 here. A couple of, there's only a little bit of 3-0s. I think Round 3 was a lot more decisive than the previous rounds. A lot of 2-1s present across the board between Popgut Fan Club, Origami Dragon, like we saw today, Big Man Blastoise, guess what? Interstellar, Ice Pun Pixies, Riptide. This is looking to be a lot more intense as group stage goes into round 4, 5, and 6.
Oh yeah, the race for the top bracket is going to be absolute cinema here if this first few rounds haven't showed it yet. And you're watching what's happening in Group B. Idiots in chat and Devora Meta has been really close, 1-1 apiece so far. Oracle is up 2-0 in Harmony, and you're also seeing some other ones, big ones. Splatoon 4, another potential favorite, it has just won that set 3-0 over Inkception. And you're just looking here, a lot of great results have been happening across both groups so far, and it's gonna really shape up to be a great ending half here for day 1.
Exactly, but I think, like I said earlier, that ending half, you won't hear from us on that ending half. Mm-hmm. We'll be hearing from Keon and Hammy right afterwards. So I think it's time we start saying we start bidding our farewells to the lovely people in Twitch chat. Spicy, where can the good people of the internet find you?
You can find me on all socials at 2SpicyBM, whether it be Twitch, Blue Sky, Twitter, whatever you want to find me. Frost6, obviously great casting with you today. Where can the great people of the scene find you?
You can find me on the site formerly known as Twitter at TK_Frost6, at Blue Sky at Frost6.bluesky.social. I'm on Discord at just Frost6, all lowercase. And if you want to support some of my own work, I'm writing a web novel. Read Gap Year on Wattpad. I'm sure it's worth your time, just as these tournaments are. But of course, stay tuned for more Low Ink. You're hearing from Hammy and Keo next. So for me, Spicy, and everyone here at IPL, stay tuned.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 4 of the March 2025 edition of Low Ink. My name is Kion. I am thrilled to be joined by one of the members of Los Inklings themselves. It's Hammy. Hammy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Kion. Very excited to commentate Low Ink. Never actually gotten the opportunity to commentate it because I've played it every month. But no, we did not win. For those of you panicking that Los Inklings won, no, not even close. We're washed. But we did not sign up this month, so I am here on comms with my good friend Kion. Now, I believe we're already getting into our match for round 4 here to continue finishing off this day. Going to be Inkception versus Blitzwave.
Yeah, Inkception versus Blitzwave gonna be the matchup we're watching. Blitzwave a 3-0 record here in the group. Inkception 2-1. So we're talking about two teams kind of in the cusp of alpha or beta bracket in this case. Both teams obviously looking for wins. Very noble names there on the board. We see Low and Midnight Lutz, I believe, names I've definitely seen before, along with Nero from Blitzwave. So it should be a lot of fun to see both these teams get together and obviously see who wins round 4. First map of this one, if I'm not mistaken, yes, is Ship Shape Cargo Co. Splat Zones to lead us off here. Hammy, your thoughts on the map?
Splat Zones, Ship Shape Cargo Co. This one is a fun one because it's one of the few places I'm allowed to play the deflux and bring in that reef slider. That zone can be a very, very scary place to go if the enemy team has some really strong specials or anything with good kill potential, but the top of that map can cause a lot of great flank routes. So there's two very different stories if you're pressuring the zone or if you're going for the long play. So both these teams have a lot of options, and I'm excited to see what they're going to bring out here as we load into the match.
Yeah, we're going to be loading into the match here momentarily. Pretty much a lot on the line here. You're talking about the difference between alpha and beta potentially based on how rounds 5 and 6 go for both teams. Let's see how this all plays out. Blitzwave is going to be on the alpha side of the pink color side. Green color side is Inkception. Right out of the gate here, Hammy, what do you notice so far with the weapons?
Immediately, I'm looking at that deflux from heaven. I did mention that slider can be very strong here, but I do notice the much more aggressive comp on the other side here in the green from Blitzwave, so they're going to have a lot more kill potential as we go into this match, whereas Inkception going to be a bit more passive and a bit more map control based.
Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit intriguing to see. You mentioned before with the restarter gonna be available from Dreadbringer, of course, from Blitzwave in this situation. So I'm wondering to see how this all plays out. By the way, the restarter already used, trying to clear out some space. Soul coming out of Inkception, gonna try to see if they can contest. Low's already looking large. 1-for-1 trade, by the way, on both sides. A lot of players getting scattered across the board. 3 members down right out the gate. It will be the control being flipped over, and potentially in this case, it's actually taking a little bit of extra time. There they go. There is the control being changed, and that is going to be that there, and it will actually be, if I'm still not mistaken, it will be Inkception, I believe, that got the cap.
No. We have, I believe, Blitzwave are the ones in the green. Now, they finally have gotten the map control a minute in, but do lose it fairly quickly as Inkception already back with that map control. They now do have the numbers advantage. Probably going to be getting some jumps in as they do have the push up. Though singular member on that gal, I believe Sual coming in, trying to pressure Neo on this leader, doing what they can to keep out Blitzwave as they take the top side back. Will this zone flip over? Can they get a push in? Kill, let's see what happens.
Yeah, gonna be curious to see if they're able to move forward. It does not look like it will be the case. We Blitzwave already getting parts of the cap there. They are able to get that retake coming in. Restarter is gonna be cut just a bit short, and the rest of Inkception, I believe, is gonna have to retreat for the hills. 2 members have already gone down at this stage, and it will just be the quick recalls here. Trip strikes being used to secure the zone once again. And it will just be the advantage so far there, at least for the 2 down situation. It's going to be potentially another flip. The other side, it's just fights being scattered all across the board here, Hammy, with both teams going 2 down. Who at the end of the day, the control will go back to Blitzwave by the end of it.
Yeah, Blitzwave still in control, haven't gotten a penalty applied yet, so if you're on Inkception, you need to get that flip if you want to keep this lead. They're trying to apply the pressure, but aren't able to push them out. We see V on that Stamper was able to stay in the zone and lock them out, allowing their team to get the lead before the flip came. But there's the wipeout in Inkception, ready to take back this map. Neo already in a scary position for the leader, putting out that wave, getting everything set up, picking off Low on that T-Tech. Can they get another? Focusing on Lutzi right now, the pencil player, making sure that Blitzwave have no backup as the lead flips once again. 2 members down in Inkception, and we have Blitzwave coming back in for a push.
Yeah, Blitzwave is immediately trying to roar right back into this one for another push that could be on the board, which they will get the quick zones cap right away. Still plenty of time to work with there. They're just having to look for a little bit of a sustained push coming up here. Look for 2 specials that are going to be coming online here from Inkception's end. The read slide that is able to run right in is actually going to get the pick onto V just like that. Devin's already moving up forward just at this stage. And it will just be Inkception, pressuring out the rest of Blitzwave. It will just be the zone kind of being stuck into this neutral state so far with the 2 members down situation. It will be Blitzwave will looking to roar right back into it, and now they're in really good position so far here, Hammy.
Yeah, Blitzwave pushing up really far, but respecting the wave breaker, maybe a little bit too much from Neo. 2 members had to back up and leave it. Now going down in the zone from the Zuka coming in. Blitzwave now back in control of this map here. No, actually, Inkception getting the zone now. Excuse me, the pick right back. Low going down. Inkception down 2, but so are Blitzwave. Can Inkception get this zone back and push here in this last minute? Try to lock them out. They want to keep this map pink. They don't like this rush of green coming in. 3 players coming in do get marked, but Neo has to respect it and wait for the team.
They're gonna have to respect and wait just a little bit longer. Again, a lot of these players are kind of getting scattered here so far, Hammy, with Inkception getting a lot more paint down on the turf, and they are in great position to pressure Blitzwave out of there. There is a zip caster is gonna get shut down, I believe, and it will just be the 1-for-1 trade, but more importantly, they're gonna be out of the penalty points here soon. 25 points remain, and now still counting down. 2 specials very much alive here with the trip strikes being thrown to at least get the cap onto the zone. The cooler at least to get to play more aggressively there, but Nero has gone down, and it's gonna be 2 members down on Blitzwave's end. It is just gonna be Blitzwave likely gonna need to get the cap zone, which they will not be able to, and Inkception starts things off with the first game on the board.
On the side there, you saw Swall drop down on Blitzwave and distracted 2 members of Inkception, but didn't opt to go back for the zone and get the cap, which did allow Inkception just to win that game just by a neutral zone and a timeout. So yeah, Inkception taking that game. It really could have gone either way there. Both teams, again, just kind of fighting in a bit of a skirmish in that last little bit, just happening to go in their favor. But game 2 can be a totally different story.
Yeah, so I actually had to confirm this one here, Hammy, because we did call it Inkception 1. I knew that my colors were not deceiving me unbelievably there, Hammy. It actually was Blitzwave that actually got the dub. So we knew we had to do the correction of that. So yeah, no, so where I got a little bit flipped there was I thought Blitzwave was on the color side. We had to iron out some stuff behind the scenes. So Blitzwave actually did win game 1. Inkception will have to win the next 2. So hopefully that is all corrected. But now that we got that out of the way here, Hammy, game 2 being Makomar Tower Control coming up.
Yes, Tower Control, Makomar coming up once again. Apologies to Inkception and Blitzwave for mixing them up, but you know, these things happen. There's a lot of things to balance for us commentators. I'm just trying to cope here. Now, yes, Tower Control, Mako, March. We're going to get some groceries, seeing how these teams are going to play. It is a lot of... it's other than the stacks, it's a very different map. Those stacks can play very similar to those top left and top rights from ship shape, but ultimately with Tower Control, it's going to be a much more moving objective rather than the stationary objective for the zone. So I'm looking to those backliners there, Neo and Lutzi, playing those chargers, seeing how they're going to try to position around their team and around the objective and utilize that variance in the mode.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how Neo and Lutzi was able to deliver a lot of value for the team here. Blitzwave was actually able to get that first win, but I think even if we do see the colors for Flip Hammy, it was so back and forth between both teams, it would be very similar to confused. So I'd be wondering to see how both teams approach it. This could be a very even game 2 coming up here. Between both of these teams, we're going to be loading up here momentarily. In this side, Blitzwave looking for another win to add to their win column to improve the 4-0, and it's good. And hopefully, Inkception is going to try to prevent that. Already weapon changes across the board. It is a duel of S+91s to start, but there is an interesting change here from Neo. It's the E-leader with the Kraken there, Hammy.
Yeah, the E-leader there with the Kraken is going to be a huge tool to let them hold that tower, or rather take the tower away from their opponents. It does allow you to just live, which is a very good thing for a backliner. Now, already, Inkception, if I do believe the colors are correct now. Yes, it is. Inkception in the purple, already with the early push-up, but now Blitzwave instead are the ones taking over here. Inkception having to back up and just kind of play on their own half, try to find some picks, maybe get some specials ready.
Yeah, and now 2 specials are, however, available from Blitzwave on that side. They got the Kraken and the Booyah Bomb at the ready if they're able to take advantage of it. The Booyah Bomb, I believe, just got popped there, looking to see if they can zone out Inkception with the delayed 2 down on top. This could be the first push that Blitzwave needs, as they're going to move this tower ever so slowly in this scenario. I think just respecting Inkception at this stage, it is going to be the pick on the load, but it is going to be a trade at that stage. Zuka being popped, not able to find value, but nevertheless, it clears up the space they needed, and that's the first checkpoint being cleared for Blitzwave there, Hammy.
Yeah, Blitzwave getting that first checkpoint is very important because you need to not get stuck at those points. It's very easy to be very congested. So first checkpoint's going to do them a lot of good, but V from Inkception already walking in, getting 2, pushing up a 3rd member, going down from Blitzwave. Now looking for their own push. Member now on the tower. Saul here with the Gal trying to ledge camp a little bit. Neo has to back up and respect the pressure from Inkception, looking for their own checkpoint here.
Yeah, but able to clear him out, and now they got a much better push coming up here with the specials they've used. The Booyah Bomb is able to stall on Blitzwave just a little bit more. Problem is, Blitzwave has an even better response. The 3 down situation, it's not a huge lead in the slightest, but with the tower control being with the tower being somewhat moving at 1 speed, you have to that tower is going to have to just reset back to neutral and see how this all plays out. Low is going to get the trade onto KKS there, so Heaven and Blitzwave able to at least cut out that push just a little bit more. It is going to be the lead change, and we are still seeing the same back and forth, almost evenly matched at this stage here. Hammy, there are 2 special available from Blitzwave, but Inkception, on the other hand, wants to get a much better lead started.
I'd like to appreciate how Inkception just got to this position. We saw Lutzi on the pencil, last member alive, jumped out, while Low and the T-Tech jumped in and distracted 3 members of Blitzwave, allowing the entire team to get back and then trading out to not give them the numbers a disadvantage, which did allow Inkception to push up there and get some more points. Now they are in the lead, 2 minutes, 10 seconds left, but it's not a comfortable lead. You want to try to get to that checkpoint. That is just on the path to checkpoint 2. It is a very, very easy threshold to pass, as now Blitzwave on a push of their own.
Yeah, Blitzwave now looking to see if they can swipe lead the other direction, but they should be able to. That's a lot of ground they just covered, and they do have a cooler that is readily available from the NZAP, which, unfortunately for them, they went down just like that. It is just going to be the 3 down. Heaven, the only member alive there from Blitzwave, but is able to stay alive with all their might. Low has gone down, and the jumps are now flying right in. It leads to a 3 down on the side of Inkception. Lutzi has to escape with their lives, and that is Blitzwave now pushing this tower even further there. The cooler being used to play more aggressively at that stage, and all that being said and done there, Hammy, that was a nice little lead change, and Blitzwave still holding on very well until that very moment. So 1:10 left to go on the clock. Push is stalled to 47 points remaining, but still a lead change nevertheless.
KKS, last member left alive of Blitzwave, trying to stall out, buy some space for their team to get back. They have the Zuka ready on this left side. Here comes Wall pushing in with that Gal, V on the S-Blast, Low on the T-Tech, all coming in and just blocking out the entire right half of the map. They know where they need to set up. That right side is so important if they want to get to that second checkpoint to push past the 47 mark. Less than a minute left. V dropping that Booyah onto a player of Blitzwave, but unable to pick them off. Now has to fight S-Blast v S-Blast here. Heaven opting to leave the 1v1 and try to push in, get some picks. Does not work out in their favor now. Inkception has the numbers, but they don't have the map. There's 30 seconds left. They need to get some paint, they need to get some specials, and they need to get a lead.
They need to get the lead more importantly, but there is a Kraken that could be used for GG Krakens coming up here. So look for that to get popped here from Neo, which they're actually going to pop that with about 12 seconds left. They're trying to at least get them dispersed right out of the gate. They're able to get one member down right away from Inkception, and Inkception kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, and it is going to be the two down on that side. The overtime push is starting, but on the other side, they leave everything unchecked. The rush into the tower is not going to be there, and it is going to be Blitzwave. They will improve they'll continue their undefeated streak of a 4-0 coming up here with this dub. Of course, we go play all three, so they got the third map to play out. But so far, Blitzwave had the response they needed and able to take home game number 2.
Yeah, definitely. Blitzwave had they were set up there for that overtime defense. We saw the Booyah. We saw 2 members jump onto the tower and just pincer any player of Inkception that tried to get on there, which happened to be all of them. So a nice couple of picks to pad their stats there, as well as, yes, 2-0 in this set is play all 3. So we're going to see round 3. And as you mentioned, I believe them going 4-0 in this set. So very, very strong playing from Blitzwave. But you know what? Let's see if Inkception can get some brownie points here. Maybe fix some tiebreakers up as we go into Rainmaker Undertow.
Yeah, Inkception going to drop to 2-2. Of course, playing for this map. You may, and Hammy, of course, having played low ink in the past, if you're in situations where you have effectively lost set in game 2, how does the team try to approach game 3 in this situation there, Hammy?
Approaching game 3, I think the big thing right now is the mentality, because you're already down 2-0, so you need to reset. You need to forget that the set's already happened. Think of it as a scrim. Think of it as something else, because you need to not let it get to your head. You need these brownie points if you are Inkception and you want to get this W. I don't think you need to let Blitzwave, the pressure that Blitzwave has applied, get to you, but you may also need to consider some adjustments, maybe a playstyle, maybe positioning, maybe even weapons.
And that's a good point coming up to this one. Undertow, Spillway, Rainmaker going to be your next map coming up here in this game 3. I mean, Hammy, at this point, almost the Rainmaker map. A lot of teams get to play here, so both teams should be as well practiced as they are. I want to see how Inkception in this case is able to adjust. Of course, already down 2-0, the record's already set, so maybe you try to think of different approaches or try to adjust your playstyle just at least. What I like to personally call salvaging the set. So wanting to see how this works here, Hammy, as we should be loading up here soon with the way this goes, and it looks like it should be loading up here momentarily. So but as noted, again, both maybe Inkception will have to treat this as a scrim or something else in particular. Try to get your mindset reset. We take a look at the weapons now. Now that we are loaded in, we do, I believe, see the sample with the crab being used, and we do get to see the custom range blaster coming out as well, and that will be Inkception dishing that one out there, Hammy.
Yeah, I do like this adjustment from Heaven. I think that the crab could give some interesting opportunities, at the very least, to shake things up. And yes, again, that custom range blaster, Kraken, going to be a valuable resource in picking off Rainmakers or even defending your own. There is a good opportunity to push inside of the Kraken. But we have here already checkpoint going down to Neo already. Checkpoint for free, 30 seconds in by, I believe, Blitzwave.
It will be Blitzwave. Yes, they did capture that right out of the gate, and is able to get that movement started. Again, with the way Blitzwave has been playing, a very aggressive but equally well thought out fighting machine here. But the Rainmaker already resets. I think they just popped it and nobody just bothered to pick it up. So that will be the Rainmaker returning back to mid. No problem whatsoever though for Blitzwave. They got a Kraken and a Zuka that is raised. Zuka, by the way, being popped. There is one member that just went down on the side. Not sure if it was down to the Zuka. Nero already was swimming right up ahead. The Kraken was there to try to carve out the space, but they are getting snuffed out entirely by Inkception. A decent defensive hold, but still the damage is done there, Hammy. 32 points on the board, and Blitzwave is still knocking on the door.
I was going to comment on the lack of paint for Blitzwave, but Nero doesn't care. Grab that Rainmaker, walk it to 32, straight through all the purple ink from Inkception now, with a huge lead, barely into this match, not even scratching the surface. 3 members down already in Inkception. Nero coming in on that the end zap there, setting up, and here comes V with that range blaster, trying to contest that space, but they are a bit by themselves. The rest of Inkception needs to rotate over to that left side here, as that push is coming in once again. Neo holding that Rainmaker, not going to be slowed down by holding the E leader Now, 2 members down of Blitzwave. Inkception have a bit of space now. They need to break out of here. They need to get some specials ready, and they need to get paint on the ground.
Yeah, they're going to need to get the paint down on the ground as soon as possible. Inkception still having to carry this Rainmaker all the way from where they were to the other side of the map. There is still a lot of time, but they're going to have to find some value picks here. The special's a little bit slow building right now. In fact, they're going to lose 2 members just like that, and it is going to be another member that's gone down. The Stamper player actually snuffs out 2 just like that, still playing aggressive, no zip caster, no problem, even if we use the crab, and that will slow down Inkception. And Blitzwave is just playing like they are wanting to still win this and take the 3-0 home here, Hammy.
Yeah, they definitely want this 3-0. They're looking really good today. They want to keep up that streak, have a strong day 1 if they want to make a really good day 2 happen. But, once again, Inkception, they are not out of this yet. They have the map there. We see a lot of purple paint on the ground low with this Rainmaker. But here comes the Kraken. Can they get... There is the pick. Low going down, and Neo able to get that pick, but they're ending in an off spot for an E-leader. You don't want to be pushed up far there. You have to get that pick on the Rainmaker and back up. Respect that time limit that you have. Now, look at the paint of Blitzwave inside of their own base. There is nothing on the ground. They have not been pushed back this far yet this match. This is the furthest that Inkception have gotten, but they need to go further.
They need to go further for sure, and this has just been a little slow here from Inkception. Blitzwave is just playing very solid right now. They even picked up the rank and almost took it back to where the first checkpoint once stood. All that being said and done, 2 specials available, Crab and Zuka at the ready if they want to take advantage of it. Inkception still trying to play defensively, or just trying to see if they can rustle the Rainmaker the other direction, but they are still getting snuffed out by Blitzwave. There is another pick in this. It does an all-out brawl. All that it stands, 2 members on both sides of the fence, and it will be the Rainmaker resetting once again, and Blitzwave will be content with that. They have control so far of the map, and Inkception still looking for a response, but they're losing 2 by themselves. Every trade that happens here, Hammy, is going to favor Blitzwave even further.
Neo is a monster right now on this leader. We watched them get, I believe, a double collateral, followed by 2 individual picks a couple seconds later, holding out this entire mid-space, sitting on the spine, not letting any member of Inkception get through. But here comes V with the Kraken. Doesn't matter if the leader can hit me, I can't die. Trying to get a pick, but unable to get any value. But they did buy some space for Inkception to get a bit of a push. But with 30 seconds left, 2 members down, it's not looking great.
They're not looking great right now. Blitzwave having all the stops at this stage, and really just timely picks right out of the gate there from Inkception. It's going to be the wipeout, and just picking up this Rainmaker. They are looking to move a little forward. Risky maneuver here from Nero. I think they were just trying to reposition themselves for the Sol. There they go. They're not willing to play this one aggressively. Just take home the 3-0 and just get the heck out of here and move on to round 5. 3-0 finish here for Blitzwave. They looked really good in this Rainmaker map.
They looked very, very good in this match. And throughout the set in general, there were some close points, but overall, Blitzwave kind of had that upper hand a lot of the time. Now, as you said, they are, I believe, undefeated today. Let me double check that so I don't lie to everyone. Yes, they are undefeated today. 4-0 in day 1 of Low Ink, March 2025. Very, very good position to be in, looking to get that alpha bracket in day 2. We're gonna have to see how they go next, but this set on stream right here was a warning from Blitzwave, showing everybody that they're here to win.
They're here to win out of this group B here with a few other teams also with sporting 4-0 records as well, as we actually get to see the results out of round 4 in Group B here at the stage. And the teams, by the way, that we have eyes on, the other 2 undefeated teams, the idiots in chat. I'm sure Popgun out there is smiling when all this is happening. We also see Splatoon 4. We win also with the 4-0 win-loss record. So loving what we see from the teams out of Group B. But we also have a handful of teams around the 3-1 range, notably Brigada Wumi and Roulette. Other teams to look out for. So I'm on to Group A, which I believe we will be seeing a matchup on Group A in this stage. A few other teams also sporting undefeated records: Freedom Dive, Poor Judgment, and Magic Beans, which we saw earlier on stream today. Our teams look out for, and we also sport the 3-1s as well, notably Popgun Fan Club, Honor Bound, and other silly teams such as Guess What and Sonic and the Secret Rings being there. So this is a We are getting a good picture of who we might be seeing in Alpha Bracket versus Beta Bracket, and I'm sure Hammy coming into round 4, especially when you may have participated in pickups in with Los Inklings, how would a team after round 4, especially those who are on the cusp of Alpha or Beta or even Gamma in this case, how would teams start to be feeling at this stage?
I mean, if you are one of those teams that's 4-0 today, I believe we have 6 teams across both groups in that position. You're feeling pretty good, but this is where it gets scary because, again, this is a Swiss, which does mean that you are going to be playing teams that are at your same scoreline. So if you're one of those 4-0 teams, you're about to also face a team who's playing just as hot as you are. So you can't let your guard down. These are the most important matches of the day because this will really determine how you're going to come out into day 2. Because as I'm sure anyone here who's played Low Ink before, you know that if you go 4-2, you could go into any bracket. You could be Alpha, you could be Beta, you could be Gamma. There is no knowing. It comes down to tiebreakers. So you need to take your own destiny into your own hands and get the win.
Yeah, and speaking of teams coming up, and speaking of which, now it's time for 2 teams who have their own destiny they're gonna have to deal with here. And it's actually it is gonna be Riptide versus Twister time, of course, not to be confused with the LAN that usually happens in every September. So, Hammy, what the story that we're dealing with here with Twister time and Riptide, both teams 2-2. You're talking about 2 teams that are basically in the cost of Beta and Gamma around that cut. So, I do remember Riptide from previous time, of course, and Goshu from Twister time as well. Both teams are actually just trying to quickly load in. So, I want to get your quick thoughts here, Hammy. If you're 2-2. Beta and Gamma mindset now for both teams. What do you think they have to do, especially coming into this game 1 in Crab Leg Clams?
I mean, obviously, definitely going to want to win. If you lose another set here and you have 3 losses, that's not going to be a very great scoreline for you. These teams still have potential to go 4-2, which is a valid Alpha Bracket scoreline, but it's going to be a definitely uphill battle. But I think at this point, you do take it 1 set at a time. Don't worry about the previous sets. Don't worry about your next sets. Right now, you worry about taking down Riptide if you're Twister time, or taking down Twister time if you're Riptide.
Yeah, and both teams will be loading up here to our new set of playoff 3 maps. Crab Lake Clams can be the first. Inkblock Tower Control, the second one, and Ramen Zones, the third. Hammy, your thoughts on Crab Lake Clams for the coming into this set?
Crab Leg Clams is an interesting one. It can be a little hard to break in if you don't have the right assets on your team. That ramp is so easy to defend. The block on the side, the cut as some people call it, is usually not a very valid option to start a push because it's so open and easy to pick off, and taking the grates above leaves you vulnerable. So no matter how you want to tackle it, you need the right tools for the job. Now, I do know Twister Time is a very aggressive team, so I do want to keep my eye out for them and how they're going to win those fights to break in. Riptide, though, I'm sure are going to have a lot of utility to keep them out.
Yeah, and I recognize a few names from Twitch. I know only Goshu is one I definitely recognize from the past. There's our roster. Shouts to Inky for the quick change there. Eon Big Gay is a great name. Fish and Lechi Lee now Twister Time, and Riptide being obscured. Joseph Koi, Mike 2X and Kag's gonna be that group. So I'm wanting to see how both teams approach this. I think Riptide, I've definitely seen from previous Ludi. I'm not sure if they are participating in Ludi this season. So I mean, Hammy, I'm kind of be curious to see how both teams do approach the first map overall, especially in round 5. I mean, you pretty much hit the nail with all the points with Crab Lake Clams, so we should be loading in here momentarily once everybody gets all situated.
Yeah, as teams are readying up, probably giving themselves some pep talks here. We are, most of the way through day 1. This is a bit of a marathon, playing 6 sets back to back to back. Sometimes a bit of a waiting period in the middle, but sometimes you don't really get a lot of room to breathe. So this is definitely the point where the endurance really comes out, and seeing that which of these teams are built to run through these 2-day tournaments and which of these teams just don't have what it takes.
That's actually good. That's a very strong part, because this is the marathon of basically 18 games you have to play across 6 different sets, play all 3s, is gonna be this is where things can get a little taxing. But if you're built to be able to win a lot of those games, you're built to go very far coming into the day 2 brackets. We are already loaded. We are about to be loaded, and we will be loaded in. I will get all my words correct there on that sense. By the way, it's gonna be Twister time on the Alpha side. It'll be green. Bravo side is Riptide. Anything that strikes out to you right away here? I know there's the elephant in the room with the Vanilla Pro that from Fish, though, Hammy.
Yeah, immediately I'm recognizing a lot of picks from Twister Time. These are very common weapons they play. Fish, though, on that pro is not something I have seen him play, at least recently, so I'm excited to see how that turns out. Though on the side of Riptide, the Vanilla Splat Charger with that vacuum, gonna be a very interesting tool. As I mentioned, you're gonna need the utility to break in on a map like I'm blanking on the name of this map. Crab Leg, there we go. Yeah, so on Crab Leg, it's so hard to break in, so having that vacuum could be a very huge tool for Riptide, as well as that hammer coming in from, I believe, Obscure on the Wiper.
Yeah, so right out of the game, Riptide has 2 power clans right away. They got 1 member down, however, from Twister Time, so this could be a very strong push. There's the Inkvac protecting Kags, realizing the space they needed. They also have the Ultra Stamp to absolutely be sure they got the space they needed, and that's a fantastic setup on offense, getting all the specials he needed just in time to clear out the base. That's going to be 2+1 right away from the push to break it down to 57 points remaining. Firewave is still trying to stay within that base for as long as they can, but to no success. That's a great opener right away for Riptide, with cashing in a home on 43 points there, Hammy.
Yeah, a great scoreline already. Getting past that 60 threshold on clams, especially in your first push, is huge. Twister Time did their best to negate that push as much as they could, but still definitely not as comfortable as they'd like it. Though with the map control now, and with 13 clams in their possession, they're starting to get ready for a little push of their own, potentially. Eon managing to pick off Kags on the ledge there. Big Gay jumping in with that Zimmy. They're going to want to get a bubble ready to get their team in. We saw how good that vacuum did for Riptide, so we're going to need Twister Time to get something of their own.
Now, does Twister Time have the tools that they need? The answer is going to be very unlikely. Their go-to is the one with the Ancient that actually has taken out Firewave. There is an Inkvac that's ready, but no power clam on site for Riptide, as Riptide is just going to have to retreat just a tiny bit. I think they're waiting for their time to get the power clam started so they can get the push started, because they have the Inkvac ready to go. So this will give time for Twister Time to just move a little forward. They got the cooler ready as well. There is the Inkvac. How do you stop this push? Look for the angle, which of course Eon does. That is 2 picks by themselves on the Triad Saucer, and Firewave is shut down. The delayed wipe is secured. And Hammy, that was a great defensive response from Twister Time.
They have responded so well. They adapted from that first push. They knew how they wanted to break in. They saw the vac come out. We saw Eon getting the 2 picks and giving their team the perfect position to get the rest of them. Now, breaking the basket, Big Gay does go down. Doesn't have any follow-up from the rest of the team as everyone else gets picked off. Unfortunately, Goshu having to jump out and just respect that numbers advantage and try to get back map control with the team here. Firewave coming in on the side, trying to go for a little bit of a flank, but backing up with that Zuka ready, looking for a good opportunity. Here it is, going up to that top side. 2 members up there. Will they get one? No, they can't pick off any members with all 3 shots, but Eon does go down to another unknown source from the side of Riptide.
The unknown source from Riptide, able to clear out 1 member there. And that will bring up the stage they need, and 2 members have gone down right out of the gate there. There is the back that is going to be slowly built up, so this seems to be the offense right away for Riptide. Get the back built up, get a member holding the power clan, and start being in position. But the second time they tried to do that earlier there, Hammy, Twister Time found the angles that they needed, and they found the push they needed to go. As it's going to be, I believe, the Inkvac being used to get another sold-out push, and it's great adaptation once again from Twister Time. They take 3 members out. Kags is down for the second delayed wipeout of this game here for Twister Time. A minute left to go on the clock, and a power clam on the hands of Goshu.
Perfect timing on the side of Twister Time too, getting those picks right as the soda came out from Kags, so no member of Riptide able to get a soda, but it doesn't matter. They don't need to respawn quick. They don't need that buff. They get the wipeout on a Twister Time now, in control of the map. Riptide with 40 seconds left. They do have a lead, but honestly, it's looking like they want to push yet again and solidify this win.
They need, get in another push just to get themselves another cushion. Not a bad plan, especially because this is not a safe lead. There's an ink back there. It's on the other angle this time, but it doesn't break through all the building points yet until that very moment. The ink back pop gets a few more. It does add more to their lead. They're down the 49 points rate. Here's the jump for the free clam back at base. Kegs is kind of in an odd angle there, not able to catch that one home. It's 3 members down. There's the power clam that is available from back at base as we're going to be approaching overtime here shortly. The ballpoint has that power clam available. They're going to need to look for the jump. They have 1 member down and overtime now slowly ticking in, but 1 member is looking large. That's Fire Wave as back there. Goshu's just waiting for the time for the space to be cleared out. Firewave is just sharking. They're looking for that. They're looking for that pick, trying to slow down Goshu, and they do. And this should effectively end it. Firewave gets a nice little double to add more to their stat line, and just like that, their Hammy Riptide takes home game 1.
Yeah, no dice there for Twisted Time, looking for an opportunity to get in, but weren't able to. They were hopefully trying to capitalize on that last push from Riptide, unable to get as many points as they wanted. We saw that power clam getting missed. The natural enemy of an Inkling is looking directly upwards as their heads are too heavy. So unable to get that power clam in, but yes, Twisted Time unable to generate their own push in overtime, and Riptide taking it game 1.
You know what's interesting is that Riptide kind of went with the ink vac strats to just clear out the entire space that they needed, just give themselves an opening to get the power clam push. But they did it, I think, 3 different times. The second time got snuffed out. They placed the ink vac in a totally different angle, and that's kind of what I was like, okay, they're gonna run this exact same strategy a 3rd time. It worked out well, and Twister Time kind of gained stall on offense, kind of made that a little bit more difficult for them to get any semblance of a push started. Yes, they got the one and done push, but nothing more than that. So we move. That's the first game for Riptide, and now on to the second map here. As we do get to see the overtime push that we did saw in the replay there for stream. So here's the second map here, Hammy, and it's a Fable classic. It's Inkblot Tower Control. How do both teams want to approach this?
Inkblot Tower Control is going to be an interesting one. Honestly, I think the comp from Twisted Time is going to be Twister Time, sorry, I keep calling it Twisted Time, is going to be a very strong one on this map. They already had a Zimmy with that bubble. They have the ballpoint who can ride the tower. They have the crab from the Pro 1 fish, and they have the bucket from Eon. I think that all those weapons play very well into tower control, though as I say that, I believe that Fish has actually subbed out for Lychee. So they're going to be changing up their comp a little bit there, whereas the comp from Riptide could use some adjustments. I very highly doubt we're going to be seeing that vanilla Splat Charger from MLC, maybe opting for something like a ZF Charger, bringing in those strikes instead.
That actually is a pretty interesting point there, because if they dish out the vanilla Splat Charger, maybe they could flex over and move over to the Zeko Firefin with the Trip Strikes. You usually see a lot of Trip Strikes there in tower control throughout, so that's a very good note for sure. So kind of with Twister Time, now you're going to be switching over to a different map mode, having to, of course, needing to win the second game coming up. I'm going to be intrigued to see how this one's approached differently, because it feels like they got some answers for Riptide. They just couldn't piece together the bigger question, which was the offensive push that they needed there, Hammy. But it kind of feels like with Twister Time, they're almost one step close each go around.
Yeah, one step closer, but unfortunately, you need to take the final step if you really want to actually win the game. Like I said, though, I think the comp of Twister Time will actually greatly benefit them here. But we saw Riptide take game 1. We saw how strong they were on those flanks. We saw how strong they were with that defense. So we're going to need to see that again from them here going into game 2.
Yeah, coming into game 2, we're going to be loading up here momentarily, and for Riptide, of course, winning the second game, they improved to 3-2. They're looking to see if they can take it home, and Twister Time trying to see if they can just try to stay alive in this one. Well, slight changes there, but there is a bubble that is at the ready, and Mike is disregarding any ideas that you have with Vanilla Splat Charger. They're going to bring this one out. Kegs is on the splash, being there, and Lychee, in this case, is going to be out with the mint decaf. Double bubble trouble coming up for Twister Time.
You know what? Yeah, Mike didn't switch to a different charger, but I respect the confidence. I respect the comfort. If you know how to play your weapon, it doesn't matter what other people think about it. If you know how it works, it's going to work for sure. And VAC could be a very scary special that a lot of people underestimate and don't really respect enough. Riptide already kind of pushing through. Fire Wave on that side, I believe getting a pick with the bomb onto the bubble. Does now also get the soda out for the team. Pushing through straight already to that first checkpoint is Riptide.
Yeah, Riptide on the blue side, able to get through the first checkpoint just like that. Now they gotta see if they can clear up the space here around Bats. Always the tricky second checkpoint, but they're able to take 2 members out there. Big Gay and Lechi still having to play a little passively here just to give themselves some room to breathe. But all that being said and done, Riptide very close to breaking through the second checkpoint. Now they do, and Mike is shut down by Big Gay. Big Gay gets a double just like that. So they will pump the brakes on the push there, but Riptide an explosive start for them as they take home 2 checkpoints, and it's good, and that's already done with a minute and 15 that already took down there, Hammy.
Very nostalgic from game 1, just over a minute in, a huge push from Riptide. Twister Time manages to push them back and try to save face, but already a lot of points down, and as I said, 2 checkpoints is not a very easy feat, let alone in 1 push. So Twister Time are going to have a little bit of work to do here. A lot of pressure on the left side from Riptide, pressuring this stack. A lot of burst bombs, crab shots, the like, but Eon with that bucket, getting 1, getting 2 on that stack. You've got to be careful of the ledges when you have Eon on the bucket.
That's exactly a great point there. Eon on that bucket, just doing a lot of value, especially knowing which angles attacking from, and takes out Fire Wave. That is going to be a zap down. No cooler available. That was a double, I believe, for the Inkjet from Goshu's hands. And now this is a great response push here from Twister Time. Now they cleared a space for Bats. Now they have pushed Riptide just a little bit backwards. The trade is going to help out, but they lose 3. They leave the right side of the map a little uncontested. They're not able to clear the second checkpoint quite yet, and Riptide responds with a wipeout of their own. And Hammy, we thought that this would be a great time for Twister Time to respond. Riptide's like, nah, we're going to prevent you from getting the second checkpoint.
Yeah, as I mentioned, getting 2 checkpoints in 1 push is a pretty tall task. And Twister Time almost were up to the challenge, leaving Eon left alone. Had to try to fight out the team, but couldn't make the hero play. Already on the counter push is Riptide, pretty much already at the point where the second checkpoint previously sat, looking to maybe extend this lead, but they're going to need picks. They have no numbers advantage, they have no specials. They're just kind of just poking around at Twister Time and seeing if something sticks, but so far nothing is.
Yeah, so far nothing really there for Riptide, just trying to contest and see if they can extend this push a little bit further, but they are losing a lot of fights. I believe that was a delay web we just saw, so Twister Time able to get themselves reoriented, reset a little bit, and now Lechi, we gotta keep an eye on where Lechi is trying to go. Understand the other side, but Mike snuffs out Lechi. Mid Decab was in their sightlines. They just took him out just like that, and with the 2 down that we saw from Goshu also going down earlier, that's not going to be a push that Twister Time can take advantage of.
Yeah, and just like you, right when you called out, keep an eye on Lechi, we saw Mike turn over and get that pick. Sometimes it's almost like the players can hear us talking to them. Now just win the game! Win the game! Hopefully, I'm sure both teams have heard that. Now, Obscure coming in with this hammer ready out and just gonna throw it with that buff that makes the hammer throw so much better. Here comes a response though from Twister Time. Lechi walking through with that decap with the assists from the Inkjet from Goshu now by themselves in the tower, but the last member is Mike with the vacuum out and they get picked through anyway. I thought Lechi was gonna push the tower, but they said no, who cares if you have a vacuum? I have a sword.
Look at the sword play from Lechi. I was wondering, is that going to be the pick from the Ink Back pop? And Lechi just moved right in and just cuts the Ink Back user in half. Mike had no chance to throw the shot from the Ink Back at all. But all that being said and done, it stalls out Twister Time, but it gave them the position they needed to fight back, and we're about 23 seconds left to go into this picture, and Obscure is just trying to swim right up at for Riptide, but is going to get snuffed out once again. Twister Time, however, still has had really decent control of this game so far, but the first push has been the big difference. This could be their time because we just saw the 3 down. Big is now right in this tower. They got a lot of control of the map, and the respawns aren't going to be favoring Riptide at the stage. They just got to get a little bit of an extra oomph here on the push. Obscure not able to get the picks they needed, but everybody's crying around the tower. I don't even think the second checkpoint got cleared out because the members were all down from Twister Time. I see Obscure on that tower. All things considered, Riptide does hold, and Riptide improves to 2-0, and that is a set win for them.
And that last play, I saw the vision from Big Gay. They dropped off the tower to put down the bubble to block the shots and not have the tower diminish the duration of the bubble. But in the time they dropped off the tower, they didn't get progress on the checkpoint. No one else switched out for them. And that time might have cost the win there, because that little bit of time gave Riptide enough time to get to the tower, and that 3-person push straight onto the tower, winning that 3v1 and preventing the overtime win from Twister Time. But now going into game 3, once again, a best of 3, but Riptide have already taken this. Twister Time definitely not in the position that they want to be in, going 2 and 3 so far today, whereas Riptide are now up 3-2.
And I know before the set win, but it is a playoff 3, so it's salvage mode once again. But here coming into the Ramen Zones map, and I was wondering, Hammy, in all situations we were thinking, all right, maybe this is the perfect time for Twister Time to get the big push out, because that opening push was kind of the big difference. But I was admittedly kind of stunned, because I'm like, wait, what happened on the swap? Because I saw it's obscure right in the tower, all things considered, but I was kind of stunned the same way I'm sure other people were. So you noted before, Twister Time dropping to 2 and 3, not ideal for them, because I'd imagine Hammy with that record going to be a little rough to break through even the Gamma bracket for day 2.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, you know, at going 3 and 3 will allow you to make it to day 2. Potentially, it really depends on tiebreakers. So, especially for Twister Time right now, you want to get this win on Splatoon's Robo. You want this extra match win in a set to help you in those tiebreakers later, once the day is finished and all of the scores are getting calculated. So, this is going to be a very, very important match for Twister Time, and honestly for Riptide as well. You always need those tiebreaker sets, and where there's only 3 and 2, there still is, at best 4 and 2 is still a pretty scary scoreline.
And you know if you can get to 4 and 2, that could be the difference for what you need for which bracket you place in day 2. But with Ramen Zones coming up, which we've seen a lot here, Hammy, anything that would strike to you for both teams approaching Ramen Zones, especially with the weapons we have seen from both teams so far?
Honestly, I mean, maybe Mike's gonna bring back this vacuum once again, which it could be a useful tool. Just using the vacuum across the zone, not letting Twister Time cap, or alternatively using it to kind of push forward. This is a lockout heavy map, so if the roster of Riptide can get pushed up and get that vacuum from Mike, it could spell disaster for Twister Time.
And that's the big thing we need to see, is some of the adjustments that Twister Time has dealt with. You and I were both a little surprised that Mike went back to the vanilla charger, but if it works, you may as well keep going here, as we're about to be approaching into this game 3, excuse me, here in round 5 coming up. So let's see what ends up happening here as we are loaded in. Pro is coming back on Fish's end there, Hammy. We saw this one in game 1 earlier. For number 2, on the other side, it is still Mike dishing out that vanilla charger. May as well just stick with what you know.
Yeah, definitely. I do like that Fisher's returned on this vanilla pro with the crab. Crab being a very good weapon, or special for zones, because it's a stationary objective. So you can hunker down on that crab in a good position and hold out. But Riptide already pushed up Fire Wave on the side, pushing in from that glass fish, using the crab, but having to back up and respect the positioning of Riptide already. Now, Obscure and Fire Wave on the bottom right, making sure that no one for Twister Time can drop Mike in the zone, applying pressure as backlanders do. Bagoshu with this jet, trying to get Mike, unable to get the direct, keeps hitting the glass and just barely surviving with that back out. Trades coming out, the map finally flipped for Twister Time, but not for long. The triple coming out, I believe, from Obscure, and the wipeout, and here comes Mike getting set up in that position that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that was Obscure on the fabled triple, and instead of that being the famous hammer toss that has been so well changed here in the recent patchups, just do it the old-fashioned way with the giant stamp. So want to see how so that was a great opener for Riptide. They did lose zone for just a little bit more. It was a great response from Twister Time in the other direction, but this trade in Obscure allowing their team to cook has been huge so far. With 2 members on both sides, it's gonna slightly favor Riptide, but not for long, as it will be a lot of paint being thrown down into the zone just like that, and Leachy does get the pick onto Obscure and cuts them in half. So Hammy, Riptide taking it down to 31 points remaining. Already a phenomenal start for that.
Riptide is a team that gets wipeouts the old-fashioned way, but Twister Time coming in here, getting picks one by one, pushing out this team. Here comes that vacuum from Mike, though. We've seen it give a lot of value to Riptide so far, mixed with that hammer from Obscure, getting a couple picks, but no! Twister Time, this time, getting their own wipeout, getting set up in a position, counting down to this lead. We're only 2 minutes in, and we've seen a lot of back and forth already, but now the lead is going to flip in favor of Twister Time.
Twister Time is gonna run with this lead so far, and you know the back and forth we go so far from both of these teams, and now the members advantage is gonna be huge. There are 3 specials that are available, and all of them are popped. Obscure's gonna try to run in with the hammer and gets a double with the toss. That's all it's gonna be for Twister Time on that push, as Obscure nails the toss there to get 2 members out of the board, and it's down just to 5 points remaining. And we've seen somewhat of this story before, with Riptide being able to sustain the push of their own and able to take and potentially be able to take lead. Riptide has a chance to respond back, but that was great timing those specials when they needed it.
2 members down in the face of Twister Time. Unfortunately, they need to get some specials ready to get right back in. The jetpack is ready from Goshu on that ball point, but they need something else. There's 3 specials ready on the side of Riptide. Here comes that hammer. The poster child for the hammer buff, throwing the hammer, but unable to get the pick, and does get picked out by the Inkjet now. Zone flips for Twister Time. They've managed to keep this lead. 2 minutes left. There's both teams throwing down soda. There's a bit of a party there in the middle, getting some nice drinks out. But Twister Time in control. A couple members of Riptide pushing up. 2 members down on Twister Time now. The whole roster of Riptide pushing in from that left side, getting the zone, and are now back in control.
Back in control once more, but I think both teams are not really giving anybody a chance to catch their breath or hold on to anything, because each time one big play happens, the fight happens 5 seconds later, it feels like. They're Hammy, and Riptide looking for a few key picks to seal the job on this one. The answer is going to have to wait a little bit longer, as 2 picks are there, and it will follow up with a delayed 3. That should be giving Twister Time enough room to get the zones back just like that. Mike is going to have other ideas, though, trying to look large with that spot charger, but to no success. Hammy, we're about a minute down. Both teams are just non-stop fighting at this stage, and Riptide going 3 down. Twister Time will have a chance of a sustained push coming up.
Mike, the last one left alive on Riptide, able to get Eon with that back shot and trading out now. The rest of Riptide are running in. 45 seconds left. 2 members drop left. Firewave and Obscure once again doing this left side push that's been working them wonders. But Lychee reading it, dropping in, healing off Firewave before they can get that Zuka ready. Here comes the Crab from Fish. Gonna apply a lot of pressure, pushing back onto Kags. Kags goes down. Last member is Firewave, who just respawned. There's not gonna be enough time. 5 ticks left until Twister Time takes this in a KO, and there it is. Twister Time managing to salvage a match out of the set and going 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2 there, and if you're a team on the losing end of a 2-0 in a playoff 3, at least try to take home game 3 and improve your tiebreakers by a lot. Hey, we kind of felt like the story was slightly different here in this zones map. The non-stop back and forth action. We got to see the fist bump from Fish and Lychee there as well. The non-stop action was almost a 9-day difference. It kind of felt like here from game 1 and 2, almost kind of a slow burn to the finish line on these two, and then Twister Time just going full speed ahead, and that was just kind of awesome to watch there from Twister Time, Hammy, especially trying to win out that game 3.
Yeah, I think in that game 3, Twister Time is a team that I've played against a lot. I know their players very well, and they are very strong fighters. But in that game 3, they had nothing left to lose, so they were able to really let loose, not get locked up in their own heads, and just play the game that they play so well, able to get that KO onto Riptide. But once again, Riptide does take that set win, putting them in a better position overall for day 1 of Low Ink now, as we're finishing up round 5 and looking at how some of these teams have been performing. A lot of 2-1 sets, so even though we're later in the day, people are still getting those close victories, just narrowly trying to get a better score as we're going into the final round of day 1 that will determine who makes day 2.
That's it. In round 6, probably one of my favorite rounds out of day 1 is who makes the cut and who does not. As we did get to see a brief look into this group A there earlier. Poor judgment by the only survivor out of the undefeated group, almost effectively going to be sealing, punching their ticket to alpha brackets there for day 2. So that's a team to look out for if you're on that side. On the Group B side, I was about to say the Group Bravo side, but that's kind of close enough, I guess. Group B is still trying to churn out their group here. So we have yet to hear. So results we are seeing across the board, though, Hammy, a bunch of 1-1s and 2-0s. So to your point, everybody's still very much competing late into this gauntlet.
Yeah, and that's one of those things with low ink in that Swiss format with the 6 rounds is that a lot of the time you get to round 6, you're looking at the score and go, okay, maybe we make alpha, maybe we finish today. I have no clue, and that can be pretty scary for a lot of these teams. You know, a lot of teams are going to be 3-2, 2-3, 4-1. So yeah, this last match still matters a whole heck of a lot for basically every team in both groups.
So we actually do have our next matchup that is available. We are just trying to get stuff ironed out, I believe, for the loadout. Yes, we do! And, okay, Hammy, I have, we got some questions here. So we got Cosmic Kitties versus Big Man Blastoise. If you, now, I cannot confirm if either both these teams are actual teams or not, but I need to know, what is your favorite team name out of these two?
Ooh... That's a good question, because I'm imagining Big Man Blastoise. Is that like Big Man, like the Splatoon character mixed with a Blastoise, or is this just like a large Blastoise? And Cosmic Kitties, are these kittens in astronaut outfits, or are these like Stardust, like cosmic entity cats? There's a lot of questions that these teams can pose us, and we will gain the answer to none of them because unfortunately they're too busy playing for their life here in round 6 of day 1 low ink.
That's a very good point. Maybe they're just busy. They're probably busy thinking more about round 6 rather than trying to have us wonder what am I thinking now. To your point, I like those comparisons too about Big Man Blastoise and Cosmic Kitties. I kind of want to imagine Kitties in an astronaut outfit now, all things considered. So we got the rosters, by the way, while my brain's kind of running with it. We're back to Group A. Group B is still in progress out of round 5, and we do have very interesting names out of both these groups. They're going to be curious to see how they both will approach this one. But Hammy, to kind of set the stage for you for both teams are 3-2. Tentatively in the cusp of beta, but obviously anything can change, and with 3-2 teams, I feel like we can't understate it further. A win makes a difference.
Definitely. Again, these teams with this win will make them 4-2. That does put them in contention for alpha bracket. It will come down to tiebreakers, so there's no guarantees, but you want every opportunity you can get. Now, both of these teams, from the looks of it, are pickups. They do not have Sendo roster pages, no common tags, so I'm going to make a general assumption. And interestingly enough, both pickups with a lot of members, 5 members and 6 members respectively on these rosters, so I'm not sure if they're teams that have just subbed players halfway through the day. Maybe they are running like multiple person rosters and switching up between games. So the dynamics for these teams are going to be very open and honestly, hopefully unexpected, and give us something that we're not really prepared for. But yeah, very important game 6 for both of these teams.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of interesting. Kind of an interesting point you bring up, because in certain cases, when you think of a pickup team, you would be thinking, okay, maybe four players just for this tournament alone. How would a 5th or a 6th? How would composing a team of 5 or 6 in a pickup setup make a difference? Would it just be like weapon changes, or just how each player's playstyle kind of just fits in?
Yeah, and we're going to have to see if they make any player adjustments, or if they're just going to run a team of 4 on both sides. But we will have to wait and find out. Rainmaker Humpback is going to be our first match for this set, and this one can be a very curious one, because there's a lot of weapons that are heavily favored, which could go hand in hand with having a 5-person roster that can make those adjustments.
That's it, and that's gonna be. It's all. You have a very wide variety of maps, I'll just say, coming into this map list. It's not just Humpback, Pump Trap, Rainmaker we're dealing with. We got a Hagglefish Market, Tower Control coming up, and a Mahi Resort Zones map coming up for the Game 3. So when I look at this map list, maybe the change we could end up seeing is between Game 1 and 2, because Humpback, Pump Track, at least from my eyes, plays a little differently, because it's a very small and condensed map, so anything can change on a dime has always been the phrase I use. So I'm wanting to see how this 5 or 6 player roster is all going to shape out here. We're still trying to iron some stuff behind the scenes, but Hammy, real quickly on the question, how do you think the 5 or 6 player rosters for a pickup would make a difference? And if so, would it just be weapons or playstyle changes?
See, I'm not too sure. I feel like see, in my brain, I don't like overcomplicating things. So if I ever do a pickup, I'm definitely running 4 people, and maybe those 5ths are subs. It's hard to tell, but I'm curious to see what the weapon picks are going to be. I'm sifting through the Sendo.ink pages for some of these players on both sides, and I am seeing a lot of weapons that are really strong on Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker. We're seeing I'm seeing a couple of rollers, I'm seeing some buckets, so those are going to be a very big one, and blasters as well. A lot of those weapons classes can utilize the angles and like the shapes that this map can bring, because it's a very round map. There's not a lot of harsh edges here, a lot of just like nice slopes for those roller flicks and those sloshes to get a lot of value.
I believe, hopefully, obviously as a bias towards sloshers themselves, I hope we do get to see some sloshers on the board. Roller's going to be intriguing out of the group here, because if we do get to see rollers, I would want to be curious as to which rollers we're going to have. I can think of 2 different thoughts there as well. You could go carbon or just the vanilla, depending on what weapon suits your needs here. So, going to be intrigued to see what both teams, especially when you have 2 teams that don't quite have their Sinnoh battle pages, so we can only guess would be a pickup, is how do the weapons all work together? And I feel like maybe that's always like fun part of the mystery we're going to need to figure out.
Yeah, Splatoon has so many different weapons, and they all fit like oddly shaped puzzle pieces together, and you never really know how they're going to want to play. And there's a lot of versatile weapons too that really change their playstyle based on who is surrounding them. So that's the glory of a pickup, is you get to try something different, try something new, and kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone. Now, both our teams loading in. Let's hope that they feel comfortable on Game 1 Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track as we're getting in.
Yeah, we're about to load right into this one. It's going to be Cosmic Kitties on the alpha side this time, so it'll be teal. And the orange side is going to be Big Man Blastoise. Now, the first step into this puzzle here, Hammy, is you may want to feel the raw... You may want to get 4 players into the Humpback Pump Track map before you can actually start pushing towards the Rainmaker. It looks like we may have had just a DC in the middle of the lobby that just happened, which that happens a lot there, Hammy. So I don't think it would be wise to play a 3v4 in that situation.
You know what? No, from Cosmic Kitties, this is the strategy. This is the ice out. You get Big Man Blastoise ready to play, and then you DC in the lobby. So they have to, they cool down, they put down their controller, they lock out, they stop thinking about the game. That is step 1. Now you also know their roster, so you can start thinking about, obviously, they cannot make any weapon adjustments, I don't believe, but now they can start thinking. They've seen those weapons. And for those of you at home, I will read off the weapons to you just so you can kind of start thinking about it yourself. On the side of Cosmic Kitties, we have Sky with the Forge Pro, Adafe with the Headit, These Nuts Kong with the Decav, and I can't see the name because it got crossed out when they DC'd. I'm going to look at the roster very quickly. J2 Doctor is on the Bladder Shot. And then on the side of Big Man Blastoise, we have Woke Fish on the Vanilla Slosher, Tree on the Dreadringer, Green Octo on the Headit, and Birdman on the Stamper. So yeah, the double bucket comp from Big Man Blastoise, kind of something that we alluded to. Those buckets have a lot of value here. So that's kind of what I expected to see. But yeah, both teams brought out a lot of weapons that are just generally strong on this map.
I was actually noting, because I think you may have mentioned heavy edits on both teams. We've seen edit get a lot more popularity in recent times, and especially so with the recent patch. And that heavy edit duel is going to be the duel I've also been most curious about. I know they're going to probably just be likely Final Killers are trying to hold the line for sure, but I always, when I see a mirror, is okay, who's going to be able to deliver more with their heavy edit? Would it be their team or themselves in this case? But to your point, Slosher weapons once again makes me very happy to see Sloshers, of course, but also the weapon class that kind of makes a lot of sense when we talk about Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker there, Hammy.
Yeah, definitely. I as a ex-Slosher main, I do love Humpback Pump Track in that regard, though now not a fan of it with my current main. I struggle with it a lot. But yes, Big Man Blastoise, double bucket comp is going to do them wonders as we get back into this game once again after the DC. And as you mentioned, both teams running the vanilla Headit. They're going to have those sodas to allow them to do a lot of riskier plays, and just in general, a very strong weapon that after this recent patch has been a much more favored pick over some of the other traditional soda picks, especially Pencil. Now, finally loading back into game 1 for real this time. No more mind games. Let's get into round 6, day 1 of Low Ink. This is these teams' last chance to get an opportunity to make it into Alpha Bracket.
Another opportunity that they will definitely coming into into this important round 6 there. Both teams now going out of the gates there. You got one member of Big Man Blastoise ready to just put paint down for special build-up, of course. So let's see how both teams approach this middle with the fight that happens here. It's going to be the Saucer and Dreadringer combo that we are going to be seeing from the Big Man Blastoise themselves, as well, the aptly named Woke Fish will definitely swimming their way through. They take out Dr. C. It is a bit of an interesting brawl right around the middle side. Big Man Blastoise comes out on top, and the focus onto the other members there as well, but the Rainmaker was left unchecked, and that's the first checkpoint quickly cleared out there. Big Man Blastoise gets the first checkpoint there, Hammy, and they will pick up this Rainmaker, taking it the other direction, but Green Octo now has the moves. They will take it home to 41 points remaining. The wipeout is there, but that's a great start overall.
Cosmic Kitties playing a little bit too aggressive for their own good. We saw 2 members of their team in mid while the checkpoint got broken, and then they continued to stand there and fight while a member of Big Man Blastoise ran it to 41. They do get the wipeout, but I feel like if they were more grouped up on the objective, they could have maybe prevented that push. Now 2 members down for Cosmic Kitties. Big Man Blastoise in control of the map, but D's Nutskong playing a little bit of aggression of their own, unable to get any picks. Once again, we're seeing Cosmic Kitties. They love to push up and play a little bit far, but so far it hasn't given them the value they're looking for.
That's a great point. They're playing the aggression. The aggression seems to be a little off. Either just doesn't get what they needed out of each aggressive play, so they're not able to build more momentum off of this one. The Rainmaker is going to reset in the middle of this, and it will be, I believe, yes, Big Man Blastoise. I'm supposed to say Big Man Kong for there for a hot second. No, Big Man Blastoise is gonna go 1 down or 2 down to start. So both teams kind of a lot of scattered fights across the board. Everything doesn't feel quite as cohesive so far with the way the fights are playing out. Fights left and right and maybe center at this stage, but it ends with 3 down, and it will be the Rainmaker being picked up here, possibly the chance for the checkpoint. Okay, definitely for sure, the checkpoint should be cleared for Cosmic Kitties coming up here, Hammy.
Cosmic Kitties gets that checkpoint, the first opportunity of the game for them to get that nice push, but 2 members down. Adfei trying to pop, unable to get it, and goes down to the explosion now. Big Man Blastoise in control of their own half, but still don't have the map yet. Green Octo barely surviving that Booyah Bomb. Here comes the sword and says, you know what? Never mind. You can have the Rainmaker. Send it back to mid. Get it out of my hands. Map control from Cosmic Kitties.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was just like, no, we don't want to try our chances. I like the idea though, like just copy the Rock and a Hard Place, just force the reset and see where we go from there. And it has been leading to just absurd brawls across the board. Big Man Blastoise losing 3 once again, and they are just looking to just throw a few Rainmaker lobs there. Now finally dropping down to ground where they can get another push started. And with all the fights that are being kind of scattered across the board here, Hammy, just Zuko's being thrown left and right, and whatever the value it is going to be, it has so far led to the Rainmaker being in the hands of the Cosmic Kitties so far. They're just likely playing a little bit of a patient game. Tree zooming in with the Reef Slider, not able to find any. The Triple Strike being thrown into the Rainmaker's hands, and just goes back into the explosion. The wipeout is there. And all that being said and done, with 1:32 minutes left to go on the clock, Big Man Blastoise will pick up this Rainmaker and look for another push.
Surprisingly, Cosmic Kitties overcorrected. They started the match off playing a bit too hyper-aggressive, and it didn't work them wonders. And then they started playing a bit too cautiously, and it caused them to get wiped out. They need to find that perfect medium, because we're seeing how strong they're playing. They're managing to get a lot of picks. They're managing to get good positions, but they need to find that happy medium. 2 members down on both sides. This checkpoint, who can get the pop? Getting the pop here could change the flow of the game. Wokefish, the last one left alive on Big Man Blastoise, has to jump out, but Green Octo jumped in. Can they get the pick on the Rainmaker? No, they managed to run away with less than a minute left. Cosmic Kitties, they need to get another push.
They need to have some sort of a cohesive push to go. The thing that Cosmic Kitties has going for them is a checkpoint cleared, and that is not a strong lead for Big Man Blastoise. They lose 3, and that is a delayed wipeout. This is their chance to get the lead for sure. But there is a move right into the Stamper, and it gets 2. Who are you, Stamper? You get the huge picks, and it will slow them down just a bit. But this could be the lead change. No, not quite yet. It is a 3-down situation. D's not calm, trying to provide jump for their team. Everybody's trying to swim right into the Rainmaker bubble, but the Rainmaker bubble gets 3, and all the picks are still there. Wolffish is still keeping things on top. This hectic fight, and it still gets the lead change the other direction. We thought that Big Man Blastoise had a chance, and all the defensive stops still had to give up lead. By the end of it, they will pick up the Rainmaker by the end. Here, Green Otto carrying this Rainmaker all the way home. The Reef Slider being used onto the left side of the map. A lot of teal on the floor here. Green Otto still carrying this Rainmaker with great abandonment. Not able to get the first pick. They just need to move and find a path to move forward to. The 3-down situation is going to be there, aided by the rest of the team. But now, where is the push started? It's about halfway through overtime, about 34 seconds left on the clock. They lose 2. The Zuka's right there, and it is just being thrown into the mix. With 25 seconds left, now being chased by the Stamper. The Stamper is just trying to be there. D's not calm, trying to find the slash onto this one. Not able to do so. They do, and the Rainmaker finally gets dropped. What a crazy, crazy sequence of event there, Hammy. I had to catch up on, but it is going to be Cosmic Kitties taking home game 1.
That overtime could have gone either way. So much just happening there. And now I really hope that the replays here show when the lead swapped sides, because oh my word, there's so much to break down in that play. Yes, here, I believe this is actually the play here. Yeah, we see the Rainmaker getting popped in this replay. There it goes, gets 3 members of Big Man Blastoise, but then Wokefish throws a bomb and gets 2, including the Rainmaker. And then, unfortunately for Big Man Blastoise, Cosmic Kitties able to grab. Sky is able to get that lead, but oh my, like 5 players going down in rapid succession right at the end. That could have been either way in that last little push, but Cosmic Kitties able to get that lead and then defend long enough through that entire overtime and just put on the pressure, taking game 1.
That would have a crazy sequence of events here. Both teams will be loading up to this Hagelfish Market Target Control map. I'm so in awe because that was like 2 very crazy stops there. Everybody just flocking right in to stop the Rainmaker, and on the 3rd attempt, the 3rd time's the charm, it led to the lead change there. There was a lot to consume. Even I still haven't got my brain oriented on this one, so I'll have to put that on the side for now. Hammy, tense finish, game 2, Hagelfish Market Target Control. Anything any change you could expect from both teams, or do you think it's just going to be playstyle differences at this point?
I think it definitely will come down to those playstyle differences. I think this is one of those cases where, looking back at the weapons they played, a lot of these weapons do work in Tower Control Hagelfish. This is going to be a comfort pick scenario where these players may swap off, but if they do, it's because they think that there's something they can play better. But I think both these comps are valid going in here. Maybe, if anything, maybe the double slosher on Big Man Blastoise could get swapped out, as they did lose that set, and double slosher comes with a lot of advantages, but may have some disadvantages as well. But ultimately, these players know what they play best, and we're going to have to let them show us and give us a show.
You know, they're gonna have to show us what the hand the hand that they're dealing with to the rest of the audience, and of course the enemy team on their respective sides here. We're about to be loading into game number 2. Cosmic Kitties, if they win, will improve to 4-2. Tiebreakers will make the difference for their bracket placement. Loser this one dropping to 3-3 at the end, so this is gonna be do or die right away. This is the decav not many people are used to seeing. The charcoal decav, the Inkjet, has made its appearance, and now we switch from a different duel. We have 2 duels now in the mixture. Sky and Tree S+91 duel coming up here, Hammy.
Yeah, interesting adjustments already from the comps now. Bit of a skirmish in the middle. You see Adfei trying to get some early sodas for the team, popping those down. You want to make sure that you can win this first fight, and already Cosmic Kitties managing to get a couple picks, but so do Big Man Blastoise, actually. So Cosmic Kitties now have the tower pushing through, putting Green Octo into a corner, but not the strong start they wanted. Tower already getting stopped.
Our tower already getting stalled, just having to get themselves reoriented. There's a buoy bomb being thrown in, spacing out, displacing members there from big man Blastoise. It is just going to be the one down. That is still going to be enough of a push to get them themselves started. And everybody's just kind of running into the fray, and it is leading to Cosmic Kitties striking big, and the wipeout is there. The first checkpoint is gonna be broken. Maybe the second checkpoint coming up here soon. This is gonna need to be a quick response from big man Blastoise on defense here, Hammy.
Yeah, already getting through the first checkpoint, which is the largest checkpoint on this map. Now, D's Nutskong trying to get a pick, does manage to get one, and also lives from the bomb on the tower. Number advantage for Cosmic Kitties, approaching the second checkpoint. Here comes that Inkjet from the less commonly played Decavitator, unable to get any picks just yet, but able to buy a lot of space. 2 members down, Big Man Blastoise. Cosmic Kitties going to the last checkpoint already, only a minute and a half in.
Only a minute and a half in, and this is a clinic from Cosmic Kitties, winning all the fights in the world. They broke through all 3 checkpoints. They might be looking for the KO here. The answer is not going to be there. And Dr. C gets 2. Oh my goodness, Dr. C does get two. Not able to pull off the hero play. The wipeout is going to be there. The jump is coming in from D Snugpong. They're playing very opportunistically. Big Man Blastoise shuts the push down. 3 points remaining. Hammy, for the understatement of the set, that is a great lead for Cosmic Kitties.
I know Dr. C wanted to get that win there, get the clip of getting a triple kill on the tower and KOing by themselves, but unfortunately able to get it. But a push to 3 already for Cosmic Kitties is a huge stressor for Big Man Blastoise, as they have to find an opportunity to get through. The Zipcaster not getting any value and gets picked off as it recalls. Green Octo last, and there's a jump in mid that's most likely going to get picked off. There it goes. So unfortunate jumps from Big Man Blastoise, because here comes in another player as well, about to get picked off. There they go. They need to stop jumping in. They need to regroup and walk in, get some specials, because already Cosmic Kitties are pushing back and trying for a KO again.
The KO on Hagelfish target control, the more the jumps are starting to get staggered, it's going to be dangerous. There's the 2 down, the Inkjet's there. That's all it's going to be, very likely now. Getting the second reboot of the push, and talk about pure dominance from Cosmic Kitties. They take the set home on a 2-0 finish. They do improve to 4-2. Now the key thing in the playoff 3 is the 3rd map to break things open. And Hammy, this was almost a night and day difference between game 1 and game 2.
Yeah, completely different scenario. We didn't have any of that back and forth. After, there was that first little skirmish that happened, but, that happens in every match. But as soon as Cosmic Kitties made a push for that first checkpoint, running all the way through all 3 checkpoints in one attempt, and then getting it to 3, and then getting it back there again. Now, I think it was... Big Man Blastoise did stagger themselves. They had a lot of jumps that didn't need to happen. They got a bit too antsy. They got a bit scared, which can happen when the other team is pushed to 3. So we needed to see that adjustment from Big Man Blastoise and play calm and know that they can win the game, but they have to work together.
That was the big thing. We were both, that I was also noticing with you too, was, oh man, all the jumps coming in from Big Man Blastoise just ended up in making that push even more stronger to the finish line there for Cosmic Kitties. You kind of got the sense there was a lot of panic there. It was like, okay, they're gonna push in front of us. So they're gonna push in front of us. We got to make something happen. And it just really showed at the final stages. And now you go to this Mahi Resort Zones map. Now for the salvage point for Big Man Blastoise. And I feel like, Hammy, Cosmic Kitties 4-2, but this one's even more important for them from a tiebreaker standpoint.
Honestly, it's important for both teams here, because Big Man Blastoise now will be going, I believe, 3-3, which is still possible to go to day 2. But it's possible that you might get dropped out. You need those tiebreaker points. And same with Cosmic Kitties. They can make Alpha Bracket if the tiebreakers favor them well. So both of these teams are vying for this next win because they want to up their tiebreaker score and make a better bracket, or potentially make day 2 at all in the case of Big Man Blastoise. So even though the set is done and in the name of Cosmic Kitties, it's not over for these teams because they need to get this next win.
This next one's going to be important here because live reports from Group A, a lot of teams have, a handful of teams are dropping to 4-2, 4-2 right now. So this third map, much more important from a tiebreaker standpoint. Words I don't expect to say every day here, Hammy. A duel of Dreadringers now. So we went from an S-Blast duel from both Sky and Tree, change it up to, I guess, the Dreadringer in this case. I'm actually a little intrigued by how this duel is going to play out here, Hammy.
Yeah, once again, I talked about it earlier, it's going to be a lot of comfort picks. You know, these players need to know what weapons they can play well, and play them they will. Getting a pick there, Sky, the slider didn't do as much value as they wanted, but able to get the double make that a triple with just the vanilla main weapon. Who needs a slider? You got a bucket on your hands. Now already, Big Man Blastoise pushed out into the base. The Zuka getting some value. Dr. C just playing a bit of an anchor role there for a little bit with that Zuka, getting more picks. Just a complete lockout from Cosmic Kitties. This is looking like Game 2 did. Big Man Blastoise need a solution.
Big Man Blastoise needs a quick solution, and when quick is, I mentioned quick, that is another understatement here, because things could have easily went far out of control. They're able to hold the line for just a little bit longer. This time now being in the zones map with a league where things can change quickly. They take 2 members out. Now they're looking for the chance to strike. The crafting being popped there. Woke Fish, but where's the value going to be? The Restar is going to swim right in and clear out the space that they need. Birdman trying to gain a few by themselves. And we're back to the skirmish game, kind of in this stage where we kind of saw it from game number 1. Now with decent Kongs and everybody else just kind of trying to find fights across the board. This back and forth we go. And it is going to be 3 down. The wipeout is there, and Cosmic Kitties are looking for another strong push coming up.
Yeah, yet another wipe in the books for Cosmic Kitties. Putting up not as much pressure as the first time. Now they're playing it a bit cool here. They know that they don't want to overextend and give away this position that they already have. Zuka coming in from Dr. C, trying to get some picks, but here comes the zip from Birdman, getting picked off for the last Zuka shot. Dr. C still alive, keeping this zone cap, playing a bit more supportive, trying to just keep this push alive. These Nutkong fighting for their life. The newest member of the DK crew jumping out, getting away, staying alive. The last member now, Birdman for Big Man Blastoise, zipping, trying to cause a bit of commotion to buy their team some time. But with 10 ticks left, is not looking good.
Not looking great at all. That's the pick that they need now. Everybody's just trying to run forward, just trying to get the picks they can, but that is the shutdown that Cosmic Kitties needed, and that is a 3-0 finish here in the set in round 6. And this was and we mentioned the 9-day difference between games 1 and 2. Cosmic Kitties rolled that momentum to the finish line. That's a great finish in this game 3 for them.
Yeah, it's rare that in a 6-round Swiss, multiple hours of Splatoon, in those last 2 matches of the day, you find that energy and that momentum to get 2 straight KOs like we just witnessed Cosmic Kitties do. So huge props to them for having that endurance to just keep pushing through. Again, Big Man Blastoise, that game 1, we saw so much like potential from it. They were so close to getting that first win, but I think they just took the gas off the pedal because they just, they got KO'd twice there. Cosmic Kitties 3-0, giving themselves the best opportunity they can to potentially make an alpha bracket. But for both of these teams, it's going to come down to tiebreakers as to how they want to approach day 2.
Yeah, tiebreakers are now going to be playing huge there, but they are in the mix of the 4 and 2. If you don't get alpha, you do get beta and beta at this stage. We are seeing a lot of the results actually flying in from Group A. Here we see it for sure. We do know 4 teams already punching their tickets to alpha brackets with the way the win-losses kind of played out. Poor Judgment will be your winner out of this group with a 6-0 finish. Freedom Dive, Popgun Fan Club, and Magic Beans rounds out the 5-1. And then you got the mixture of 4-2s as we all know and love. So that's what it's going to look out for them. And Group B round 6. Group B in this case still trying to iron out things out of their group there. So just to give you guys the idea, the idiots in chat is rounding out the 5-0 there. They effectively, more likely than not, will get their ticket punched for alpha brackets. And then you got the mixture of 4-1s just trying to duel it out. So that's how Group B is shaping up. So we will see what's going to happen out of Group B later on today. But Hammy, I feel like out of the matches we saw, it feels like we kind of see what teams made the cut and what teams are still trying to have to go back to the drawing board, and the next time they do low ink.
Yeah, definitely. It's low ink is one of those tournaments that, with it being monthly, You have so much time to prepare and get ready for the next one, and it's nice to see how much better some of these teams get every time they come back. Now, as for the rest of these teams, there is going to still be day 2 of Low Ink. We're going to see how these teams are going to fare, which teams have made it to Alpha Bracket on stream tomorrow. But for now, that is all from us for day 1 of Low Ink. That is all now from me and Keone. But before we go, let's plug ourselves. Keone, where can everyone find you?
You guys can find me, of course, Keone2570, Blue Sky, Twitch. Taking a break from Twitch just for the upcoming Ludi and CCA season coming up as well. So you'll see me back in a much more regular schedule in a couple months from then. Also, if you're going to MomoCon, I hope to see you there as well. Hammy, of course, take this one all the way home. Where can people find you?
You can find me most actively on Blue Sky at hitw.ink. You can also find me basically everywhere else on the internet at Hammy in the Wall. And if you're a LAN goer, you'll find me walking around being loud at MomoCon and at Gommel later this year. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to Inky for being our production today. Thanks to all the TOs. Thanks to you, all the viewers, for watching. And I hope to see you all back for day 2.
Yeah.